When Pikeville College announced it would field a football team for the first time in its 111-year history, the excitement began building for the first game that February day. Now, 7 months later, Zach Willis is ready to lead his troops into their inaugural battle.
We're just excited about football being here. I always get excited when you smell that grass cut. You know it's football season. It's a fun time.
For Pikeville College, the future is now as the Bears take their first ever gridiron challenge against the junior varsity club of the NAIA-powered Georgetown Tigers. We've got it for you live from Georgetown's Rawlings Stadium next.
Tonight's game is sponsored on WYMT by Toyota Dealers, Daw Hairs, The Moore Auto Group, Double Quick, Ron Perry Auto Mall, Van Overhaul and Barley Attorneys at Law, Tincher Williams, Appalachian Wireless, your Super 6 best quality Ford dealers, Kentucky Cellular, and Cardinal Chevrolet Cadillac.
And welcome to Georgetown's Rawlings Stadium. John Lewis along with Brian Milam. These guys have waited 111 years to play football. They're ready to tee it up right now.
We are ready for football, and it's an exciting time down there. Those guys have been hitting on one another in practice for the last month or so. They are ready to go, and it's an electric atmosphere down there right now.
Well, win or lose, as we've been talking about, win or lose, this will be history for Pikeville College. The football team hits the field for the first time. They're ready to kick off, and I think they're going to do it right now in just a few seconds.
They are ready, and young ball club out there, Zach Willis knows that he's got 76 freshmen on this 83-man squad. Only about 56 or 57 showed up. They were allowed to travel. And his patience will be tested, I'm sure, throughout this season, and a lot of Pikeville fans will have to rally support for this team, knowing that it's going to be a long 6 or 7 games at times.
Well, we can hear the crowd getting warmed up. They've waited for football a long time. Let's go on down to the field, and here we go as Pikeville will kick off against the Georgetown JV squad. And there is the historic kickoff, and it'll go near the 30-yard line, and no return, so great special teams work early on the first play of Pikeville College football.
Pikeville has talked about how much team speed they have, and Courtney Rumpf downfield immediately on the short kick and knocks the man out of bounds. Team speed is going to have to probably be the strength. You look at all the athletes, we watched them before the game, and high steppers running on the toes, very quick athletes, all of them.
Georgetown will have the ball first. Number 14, Bart Johnson, the quarterback. He'll work under center. Derek White goes into motion, takes the pitch in the backfield. Couple yards on the play.
And a flag comes in late as he is driven out of bounds. Probably don't look for Pikeville to do anything fancy. First game, you don't want to complicate the issue too much. They already have enough butterflies to go around for their parents in the stands, friends, and everybody else. And Coach Willis said they probably would not do a lot of blitzing, a lot of stunts, things like that, keeping it pretty basic.
Well, he says the team who plays the best fundamentals will get the job done, and fundamentals certainly what's on the mind of Pikeville College.
The fundamentals is where you're going to have to start. And of course, Zach Willis, his mentor, Lou Holtz, very strong when it comes to fundamentals. I think he stressed that enough at Minnesota and with the Jets when he was there, and of course Notre Dame and now at South Carolina, trying to turn that Gamecocks program around.
That penalty was a face mask penalty against Georgetown, or against Pikeville. So it'll be 1st and 3. Pass is complete to the 40-yard line to Derek White. White looking for the first down. He's got it. Taken down at the 45. TJ Hudson on the tackle. A couple of roster changes. So if you're watching at home and looking for a certain roster number for Pikeville College, good luck.
Well, Pikeville, you can tell it's the first game because they had to make a stop and pick up some of the jerseys on the way here, and that happens with the start of a young program. Watch for Pikeville on defense. Try to fly to the football. A lot of tacklers going at the ball at one time, and no one or two man tackles there.
Immediately in the backfield is big number 92, Anton Brown, for the very first Pikeville sack in football history.
It did not take him very long to cut through the offensive line. Somebody missed a blocking assignment, and you could tell that was the first game of the year, and I'm sure the coaching staff for Georgetown going to try and correct that. The size of Georgetown and Pikeville, pretty comparable, but as we talked earlier, it's the experience factor that really favors Georgetown in this one.
2nd and 15. Michael Caba going into motion. The pass down to the 50-yard line, incomplete. The intended receiver was O'Shea Hudspeth. That'll bring up 3rd down.
You mentioned Michael Caba. I'm sure people in Macoffin County and the Big Sandy area really remember that name. Back in the early 90s, his father brought air attack football to Salyersville, and they really had some success. And I believe Michael threw for somewhere, I know the math's not right, but somewhere around 7,500 yards, somewhere like that, and really did outstanding things for Macoffin County football.
Johnson on the run. Got the 1st down and more. Stoy Young on the reception.
Travis Washington knocked him out of bounds, and I think it's going to take Pikeville a few plays to get over the jitters.
Sure.
And you can see it. Sometimes you get so mentally pumped up for a ball game, you start having breakdowns. And that young man was wide open, and they have to shore up that secondary just a little bit. Pikeville coming with a 4-man front, trying to wear that offensive line down.
So Bart Johnson goes back under center. Caba goes into motion. Draw play, and it's going to be a successful one for the Georgetown Tigers. They're trying to wrangle down Michael Copley. They finally do, but not before he gets a 1st down.
Michael Copley, another Eastern Kentucky player over here at Georgetown, played for one of my favorite guys, Chuke Williams. I tell you, we talked about Chuke on the way up here and how much they run the football, and Michael, one of the predecessors to Michael West, who's a great athlete for Lawrence County nowadays.
Copley, a 6'2", 213-pound sophomore out of Lawrence County High School, picks up the 1st down for Georgetown. Ball now on the 37-yard line.
Pikeville not with many people in the secondary. Watch for maybe later in the game for them to go long. And speaking of long,
Michael Caba gone into the end zone for the touchdown. Slides down after he gets in. 6 points for the Georgetown Tigers.
But didn't take him very long, just under 2.5 minutes, and did not take the Tigers very long to score. And Coach Zach Willis mentioned one of the few things that he did not want to have happen was get embarrassed. And what he meant by that was not to bring out his ball club and make sure that they made a name for themselves, because he knows it's going to be rough at the beginning.
Jason Coy will try to make it a 7-0 game. The sophomore kicker and punter. And he does so. 7-0. Georgetown over Pikeville here in the 1st quarter. Of course, there was some question about what the Pikeville defense would bring out. One great play there, quarterback sack in the 1st drive, but Georgetown able to overcome that, take it into the end zone for a touchdown.
Well, Pikeville, it's going to be a long ride, and I can see several of the Eastern Kentucky kids, Dusty Hall, going to get in here on the kickoff return. 83 kids on the roster, 76 freshmen. That leaves 7 sophomores, and 28 are from our coverage area, 30 total from the state of Kentucky. And Coach Willis has brought in a lot of kids from South Carolina. That's his recruiting base, of course, for out-of-state players. And it will be interesting to see just how Pikeville reacts to adversity and what they can get going on offense. He's promised to open up the offense, but at the beginning we may just see total conservation. Good Republican coach on the other side.
Could very well be. Zach Willis said again that you'll see a lot of base offense. He's not a trick play kind of guy, so don't expect to see any fake punts or anything if 4th down comes up in this 1st drive. He likes to keep it fundamental, keep it basic, see what he's got. This is a test game for him. He's got to see what he has and what he doesn't have, what they need to work on. And what better team to do it than a team that whose varsity was an NAIA runner-up last year.
The NAIA, that championship game, I remember watching part of that. Georgetown lost a 20-point lead in the 2nd half, and of course, so many times you watch those Division II, Division III games, this game, that game, national title. They're all high-scoring games. There's not a lot of defense for some reason, and of course, you're an advocate of whoever scores more points. The offense wins the championships, and
Sure.
the defense doesn't. But those games Georgetown did not show up to play in that second half defensively, and I think that loss really caught a lot of people by surprise because they had it pretty much wrapped up. And one thing Zach Willis said, he said the team that's a national runner-up, the JV team, the apples don't fall very far from the tree, and he's pretty much right about that.
Well, I think you're going to see some players that are playing today probably play this Saturday when Georgetown hits the field, and this is a good time for Georgetown. These guys have to make a name for themselves. They'd like to get on that varsity squad here pretty soon. Back deep to receive. There's Grant Williamson, and Williamson may be breaking free. One man to beat. It's the kicker, and the kicker will have to take him down near the 45. Wow, a huge play. First time, but we got a flag in the backfield near the 40-yard line. Let's see what it is.
There's a flag.
About the 35.
And it was so far away from the ball, you'd have to think it's on Pikeville. Maybe a hold or a block in the back.
An illegal block below the waist on the run back. Penalized the spot
that's
the
a tough
foul.
one.
It'll be first down.
Well, a big play comes back, but boy, the Pikeville fans got to their feet quickly on that one.
Greg Williamson just tore down the right sideline, and if it wasn't for the kicker, he has 6 points. But of course, the penalty flag brings it back. But that's a heck of a way to start and get some excitement. A lot of fast, quick players on the other side dressed in white.
I thought there would be some question about special teams for Pikeville. They may have answered one at least here early on. We've got about 11 minutes, 56 seconds left to go here in the first quarter. Ball now on the 24-yard line. And the starting quarterback for Pikeville will be Scott Branton, a 6'4", 190-pound freshman from Maryville, Tennessee. And it's pretty easy to say a freshman because you're going to be basically right every time. Freshman, mostly freshmen, a few sophomores on this team. No upperclassmen, no juniors or seniors.
It didn't take Georgetown long to score in that last drive, 58 yards, 2 minutes, 50 seconds. And they did it with relative ease with the exception of the one sack. And it's going to take us a couple of minutes to get some of these names with the new numbers. Because I thought onto the sack it was Michael Braxton, who's now number 92, who was number 96. So we're going to have to check our records here just a little bit.
Well, the first play of Pikeville College's offense. It's a swing pass out to Marcus King. And another thing, we've already lodged our complaints. Of course, you can see them pretty well there on television, the numbers, but from up here in the press box, no trim around those numbers. Kind of like watching the old Tennessee teams.
Very much like
Hard
the
to
old
read the
Tennessee
numbers.
teams.
Orange numbers on white jerseys.
Not a good combination.
No, it's not. So that was a 1-yard gain. Branton now in the shotgun, looking to pass again. This was the plan coming in. That pass incomplete. The intended receiver is number 2.
Of course, I had on my roster Courtney
I
Rumpf,
do too, but don't think that's correct.
Who is now changed to number 14. So we're going to we could have an interesting night putting names and numbers together. That's a fact. That is a fact.
So 3rd and 9 ball on the 25-yard line. And there was some talk that Zach Willis may try to run the ball, though when he came in, he said, as a coach, he said his game plan was to throw the ball. So far, he's sticking to that game plan. We'll see what happens for the rest of the time.
We've got trips to the left and twins to the right, and then it's a QB draw.
How about it? Branton tried his best, but tackled at the 20-yard line. And that'll bring up 4th down.
We saw a lot of QB draws in the last 48 seconds on Saturday against Louisville, didn't we?
More than a few. Jared Lorenzen, and you made the best comment about that. He's his own pulling guard.
He is, very much so. If he doesn't hit the scales at 300 pounds, then we need to check the scales at the Nutter Center because they are definitely off.
4th and 7, so
Stanton doing his own punting, the Danny White of Pikeville.
there was some question about who the punter would be. Zach Willis told us before the game that Branton would do his own punting so he can get himself out of trouble. That one's away. And that one will be taken at the 35. Up the sideline.
Good coverage by
Nice
Pikeville.
coverage. Very good.
They split the wall that Georgetown had. Georgetown had a wall built to the left, but when the ball hit the ground, it kicked to the right. And that pretty much nullified the wall that was going to be built, or the wedge right up the middle. So break for Pikeville. And the snap was a little low. And Branton fortunate to get that off, because if you noticed, right when he got rid of it, there were 3 orange jerseys closing in on number 10.
Ball will be placed on the 48-yard line as Bart Johnson goes under center. And looking to air it out, and he does. Looking for the quick strike, and in and out of the hands of Stoy Young.
That was almost disaster for Pikeville. Young went above Rumpf, who I have as number 14. He went above Rumpf and almost made the circus catch. That would have been highlight material at the end of the year if he had come down with that catch.
Well, Courtney Rumpf, according to our chart, is 5'6", and Stoy Young at 6'1", so taking advantage of that height in the secondary. Right up the middle, number 26, Jonathan Taylor. Taylor got a first down and much more. Nice run, breaking tackles.
Defensive line may have to rely on quickness more than size, and sometimes that can be a problem, because if you have some big guys, you could take a look at Georgetown's huddle. They have some big boys lined up there, and if you don't have the quickness and you don't have the size, you're going to get knocked off the ball, and it looks like that they may have the size factor on them just a little bit.
Ball on the 32-yard line. White taking the handoff, but nowhere to go. And they're putting them down hard.
Rumpf was in the backfield. He got around his man who was trying to block him, and he tripped him up, and he got a lot of help from everybody else. And I think Pikeville's going to really have to gang tackle. If they're not too big, then and you see some smaller guys out on the corners, they're going to really have to wrap up down low and swarm to the football. As Hazard coach Mo Dixon said, like 11 bees. You just have to swat at them and hope they all go to the football.
See if they can do that on 2nd and 6. Ball now on the 29-yard line. Play action. Johnson, plenty of time. Now he's under pressure, and he is sacked by number 45, B.J. Jackson.
Well, that was the quickness aspect, that he got around his man, and he had a lot of time. He took too long, for one. You have that 3 or 4 seconds where you have to make your mind up, and if you don't make your mind up, then you're going to have to maybe scramble with it. And give credit to the secondary, had the receivers covered well, and the linebackers dropped back into coverage and really took away the passing lanes.
3rd down and 18 now for the Georgetown JV team. Johnson going to try to go to the air again. And again, plenty of time. Got rid of it and overthrown.
Kaba, the intended receiver, and if he had caught that, he would have been in a world of hurt. Eric Moore was right behind him and didn't take his legs out from under him. But Pikeville's defense for the moment has held, and we'll see if they're inside the 50, what kind of a coffin corner kick we'll have as the visitors just keep rolling in from the sidelines here.
That late arriving Pikeville crowd coming in. 8 minutes, 19 seconds left to go in the first quarter. Georgetown leading Pikeville in Pikeville's first game ever, 7-0. Big defensive stop, though, for Pikeville College. And we'll have a delay of game here probably from Georgetown.
Probably did that to give their punter just a little bit extra room.
5 yards from previous spot.
And if he gets a little bit extra room, then he can probably he may kick it a little farther than he does high. So, being an ex-punter of 7 games, I can tell you that.
A wealth of experience in the booth tonight.
Very much so. 1 tackle.
And only because you had to, I'm sure.
Exactly. You don't want to tackle a 6'3", 230-pound guy too many times when you're only a 5'11", skinny kid.
The punt is away and taken about the 5-yard line. Boy, great coverage there and not much to go.
No blocking really for him. I don't know what happened up at the line of scrimmage, but he was by himself. And the best thing he could have either done, you put your heels on the 10-yard line, and if that ball comes over your head, you let it go. And that would have been close. That would have been close to see if the ball would have gone in the end zone. It may have, tough to say if he made the right decision, but They have the ball pinned back about the 15, so decent field position.
Pikeville still waiting on that first touchdown. Scott Branton will try to march the Pikeville Bears 85 yards, but that's not going to get it done there.
The offensive line collapsed just a little bit.
That was Derek Dewberry looking to get some yards and maybe got back to the line of scrimmage. Give him 2 yards on that.
Pikeville, we've mentioned that Coach Willis wanted to throw the football. He mentioned that it's kind of hard to teach an offensive lineman to pass block.
Right.
If he's used to running the wishbone, like we see so many Eastern Kentucky teams, there really is only a handful that really throw the football.
Handoff again. Maybe another 2 yards. And he says also, you know, a lot of these players are playing an extremely sped-up, fast version of a game they played in high school. So they've got to get used to the speed and quickness of the college game versus the speed and maybe lack of quickness in the high school game.
Well, you ask any college athlete, what's the first thing they notice? And no matter what sport it is, they're going to say, well, the defensive backs are faster. The pitcher throws harder. The centers in basketball, they are much taller and their arms are longer and they do things better. Everything is just a notch ahead or maybe 2 notches ahead than it was in high school.
3rd and 7 now. Quarterback draw.
Great
Still
move.
on his feet. Oh, wow, Branton took a shot there at the end of the play. That'll bring up 4th down.
Great move by the quarterback, Branton, but I think Zach Willis would probably want him just to go down. This is the first game, and you don't want to be the hero on the first game. He did take a shot. Brings up 4th and 2, and Branton's going to punt. But you lose him, and you lose your punter as well. So good job of fighting for yardage, but when in doubt, if you don't have it, just go down, and you never know what can happen here on the punt.
Well, again, Zach Willis said he's not one to do a lot of trickery, but when the quarterback's punting, defense got to keep on its toes. That ball taken at the 45, and
Pikeville swarming to the football again. Great job. John Cunningham in there, Stanton, Kentucky, Powell County, a Powell County Pirate in there on the tackle. Like we said, one of 28 Eastern Kentucky players, and all of them from our coverage area, which is a great recruiting tool if you're Pikeville College.
Well, Zach Willis came in. His goal was to have 55 to 75 junior varsity players. He's pretty much got that so far. He's hit his goal more than enough.
He's hit the goal with 83. You're only allowed to dress, I believe, is 56. So some of the kids are watching at home.
That ball thrown a little behind the receiver, O'Shea Hudspeth.
And Eric Moore again. We may have to give him some nickname. That's twice he's laid into the receiver pretty good, and if he catches it though, that's about a 15-yard pickup. That was on the slant pattern. He really should have had the football. O'Shea Hudspeth looks like he's got some good hands on it. Ball may have been thrown maybe just a tad behind him. Not sure though.
And it was a wobbler. 2nd and 10. Ball is on the 44-yard line. Johnson on the draw. Hands it to Michael Copley there. Copley trying to get some yards out of that.
Doug Screen on the defensive line, a 6-footer, 275 pounds. Looks like he could be tipping a little more than 275. Great penetration at the line of scrimmage, and if the draw goes to the other side, that's going to be about a 5-yard loss. So give credit to the running back who took the other option on the draw.
I probably would take that option also. 3rd and 11 now. Caba goes into motion. And buried under there, they lost the quarterback. Now he takes a huge hit, and somehow, I don't know if he got it complete. No, incomplete. The ball comes loose. Some hard hitting in this first quarter. The quarterback, Bart Johnson, was smothered, got away, then took a huge hit, got rid of the ball. But Pikeville able to deliver another hit, make it incomplete, and bring up 4th down.
Caba was the intended receiver again, and the reason he was able to get that ball away is because he's left-handed. If he's right-handed, it's a much tougher throw throwing across your body, but because he was left-handed, he got lost, like you said, behind his offensive tackle.
and they run in a late substitution. The
Good
punt,
punt.
that is a great one. It's going to be taken about the 15. Smart move to let that roll down, but it may not roll into the end zone. Wow, they're going to have some work to do here. Special teams picking up for Georgetown.
Well, Moore was at about
Illegal
the
motion.
17-yard line.
If accepted, 5 yards from the previous spot. Illegal motion.
So we have a flag down on the play.
And it probably came for the last kid who came running in for Georgetown. And but it's very fortunate. They would have the ball on the 3-yard line. But Eric Moore was at about the 18 and not the 10. If he's at the 10 and it goes over his head, that's fine. But he was 8
Illegal
yards
motion.
ahead.
On the offense, we will re-kick. Complete 4th down.
Well, it was a great punt. Georgetown was able to get away.
Caba down here on the sidelines, and he looks like he's in some pain. He's taken a couple of licks, and he's with the training staff at Georgetown working on the rotation of his shoulders, and he's taken a couple of shots.
This one will roll dead at the 20-yard line, so just as good as a touchback. And Pikeville catches a break there as they pick up what would have basically a 17 yards on the play because the ball was pinned at on the 3-yard line and now ends up at the 20 after the re-kick.
I'm kind of wondering why Pikeville's not getting much of a rush, but they're not getting any protection for the kickoff returner or the punt returner. One of the two has to give. If you're going to rush the punter, then you should have, maybe not as many people back, but if you're not going to rush, then you should have people. You have at least 10 in the back somewhere, but nobody back there right now.
Well, we are waiting for the snap of the ball. 4 minutes, 41 seconds. Georgetown leads Pikeville 7-0 on an historic night at Rawlings Stadium here in Georgetown. The Pikeville Bears play their first ever football game, and we are ready again for action. Ball is on the 20-yard line, and the quarterback, Scott Branton, out of Maryville, Tennessee, trying to lead Pikeville to its first win ever in its first game ever.
Great slant pattern.
Great slant to number 5, Marcus King, who picked up probably about 8 yards on that play.
Nice pass. Branton has good form to him and throws the football well. Pikeville started that possession out with trips to the left and twins to the right. And with Branton, with this offensive line, a lot of question marks on every aspect of the game so far for Pikeville, and it will remain that way for this entire season pretty much. If you're unsure about that offensive line, get rid of the football quickly.
I stand corrected. It was a first down going to the air again as Branton then overthrown. The intended receiver was Tommy Parker Jr. That'll bring up second down. Coach Zach Willis comes in here to lead the Pikeville Bears. Began his coaching career as a defensive coordinator at Greenville College in Illinois. He's been an assistant the last 4 years at South Carolina. Of course, under Lou Holtz there for the last couple and for the last year. And he comes into Pikeville College to lead the Bears in their first ever season of football. And you may have to credit that one to another coverage sack for Georgetown.
Definitely. One of the receivers that Coach Willis was really high on, Austin Lassane, a 6'4", of course, freshman from Sumter, South Carolina. His duties was lost for the year due to a torn ACL. And he said that this young man is definitely a Division I prospect, but because of some loopholes and problems here and there that he was able to grab him and bring him to Pikeville, and he said that young man is electric on the field, and unfortunately for Pikeville, he is lost for the whole season, and really the biggest injury they have.
5 receiver package, so no question that Scott Branton would go to the air, but a great defensive play from Georgetown.
Mark Walker, who is not on the roster, believe it or not. It is
actually have him
game.
listed at number 4, but he's actually number 5.
At the snap, we had 6 men on the line of scrimmage, penalized in the yard of previous spot, 5 yards.
Another penalty on Pikeville. It's going to bring up 3rd and long, and if I was Pikeville, I'd probably might try to stick with that short slant pattern. That has seemed to work, and a play that has come out of the
Illegal
Breathitt
procedure.
County playbook
White.
was the
Fine.
fade pattern down the right sideline. We see Breathitt County use that to perfection usually every season, and that's what that play was, a little fade down the right sideline, getting one-on-one coverage.
Well, that's been one of the big plays so far for Pikeville College early. Now they're looking at 3rd and 14 with the ball on the 27-yard line. Clock stopped at 3:26 here in the first quarter. And the Pikeville College Bears trying to even up the score with 3rd and 14. Although it's probably 4th down if that clock's correct. We'll see what's happening because Branton was back to punt.
And we have a delay of game. Branton was wanting the snap of the football, and the center didn't give it to him. He was begging for it, but he could see the
We had a
time
delay of game.
winding down. We have a delay of game.
5-yard penalty.
So it is
Down.
4th down. Now the scoreboard has 4th down. So a few extra yards for Branton to try to get this ball away.
Branton been a busy man this first quarter. This is his 3rd punt already.
That one taken near the 45.
Good coverage by Pikeville. Great downfield coverage. Larry Forrester out of Hampton, South Carolina, yet another Carolina boy who comes up to Pikeville and play for Zach Willis's first-year ball club. Pikeville really is stingy with the defense since that first opening drive. Georgetown really hasn't gotten anything going. They've shot themselves in the foot a couple of times with a dropped pass or something like that, but Pikeville has been pretty stingy over the last 10 minutes.
This team, Georgetown team, has much more experience than the Pikeville team, but they're going to try to do as much as they can to use some strength and size to overcome their lack of experience. Number 29 is Freddie Green. He picks up some yards on the play. 7 to be exact. 2nd and 3.
A couple of nice moves out there, and which resulted in a couple of missed tackles. And I believe that was Freddie Green that made the tackle.
Freddie Green did make the tackle. I was wondering what's going on here.
Pikeville has 5 on the line, but they usually only rush 4, and then one drops back into coverage.
Well, again, look who ends up on his back. Number 14, Bart Johnson, who threw into double coverage. May have gotten away with one there.
Travis Washington plays kind of like a Mike linebacker in the middle. He will line up on the line, but instead of rushing, he will fall back. And obviously trying to confuse the offensive line. Georgetown has had some success running the football to the corner. 3rd and 3. We'll see if they take it to the corner again.
Slot receiver Derek White goes into motion, and they may have to measure this.
Went off tackle to Copley, and I'd say they have the first down pretty easily by a yard and a half or so.
Yeah, they'll move the chains. That'll bring up 1st and 10. Ball now on the 38 as we near the 2-minute mark of the first quarter. Georgetown leads Pikeville College 7-0.
Of course, with Michael Caba and Michael Copley, those two young men like the big hit.
Wow.
Freddie Green. Look out for Freddie Green. A couple of nice tackles in the last few plays.
Well, the Georgetown Tigers hoping the defense would bite on the play action, but they did not. And Freddie Green jumps back in that backfield and levels Bart Johnson. Johnson will be feeling this tomorrow. It's already in the first quarter.
He is taking a couple of good shots, and that means that Pikeville is getting some good penetration on the defensive line, obviously. And he's been rushed on several occasions.
2nd and 15.
Up the middle, and Pikeville's defensive line stops them again. See, this is a moral victory this first quarter. This really is. It's 1 minute left to go, and it's 7-0. And the way it started, you think, oh boy, Georgetown's already on the scoreboard. The offense needs to pick up the slack just a little bit, but the defense from Pikeville, outstanding since the first drive of the game.
Some of these Pikeville guys out there on the line may be looking a little tired here early.
Of course, we've seen so much in football the first couple of weeks. Cramps really play a part late in the game, third quarter on.
3rd and 14. And in and out of the hands of Jonathan Taylor. That'll bring up 4th down.
Well, they tried the little halfback or fullback screen, and he had some blockers in front of him. They were downfield a little bit, but if he catches the football, he has at least 10 yards and close to a first down. And ball thrown a little bit over his head. And another break for Pikeville, but it looks like they're going to go for it.
They will go
4th and 14.
Ball on the 43-yard line. We're 25 seconds away from ending this first quarter. And a big gamble here for the Georgetown Tigers. Johnson unloads, complete, and near the first down marker, he probably got it, but Pikeville in there delivering another hard hit coming out of there, Stoy Young.
Courtney Rumpf hit him again, and but that's a big play. A gutsy 4th down call, because if they don't get that, Pikeville has great field position at midfield. Nice catch over there by Stoy, but Stoy Young. But Courtney Rumpf's he's made some nice plays on there after the catch has been made, though.
Bill Cronin certainly making the gamble there against what's been a decent Pikeville defense. This play will not count as the horn goes off to end the first quarter. And after Georgetown gets off to a quick start, the Pikeville defense is held at the end of 1. It's Georgetown 7, Pikeville 0. Hey, let's come back up on the actually let's come back up on the number of players.
The number of players, what's that?
We got a full screen that's got the players and the breakdown.
That's a Pikeville person right there.
Who's that?
That girl right there in the beige. I remember Chip used to stalk her with the camera.
Why?
I don't know.
I don't know what. Probably. I don't blame her. Sure, I'll take one.
11 seconds.
And welcome back to Rawlings Stadium, where the Georgetown College JV Tigers have taken a 7-0 lead on Pikeville College in Pikeville's first ever football game. We're ready to go back to action here. Ball is on the 27-yard line. It's 1st and 10 after a big offensive gamble paying off for the Georgetown Tigers. The pitch to Derek White. White looking toward the sideline. This ball is loose, and it must have gone out of bounds. Not a lot of Pikeville Bears looking to jump on it. Looked like it was going to roll out of bounds. It rolled down the sideline, but did touch the out-of-bounds line. A break for Georgetown.
If that ball went out of bounds, it barely grabbed the chalk, but nobody went to the football afterwards. And then a Georgetown player picked it up and could have taken it in. They have some stats after the first quarter. First down, everything really in favor of Georgetown. Time of possession, 9:16 to 5:44. 7 first downs to 1 first down.
2nd and 6, so 4 yards gained on the play, and they're looking to add 6 more. Following his blockers there is number 29, who I don't have on my roster, and we'll find out who he is. But some great blocking from the Georgetown Tigers.
One thing I've noticed about Georgetown, when they do run the ball, if it's not off tackle, it goes around the corner. And we've seen the defensive line. The defensive unit have been out there a long time, especially some of the big kids for Pikeville on the defensive line. When they go side to side on those sweeps, that wears you down.
The pitch again to 29 near the line of scrimmage. We're hoping to hear a name.
Once again, good penetration from Pikeville.
Tucker McEwen,
who's number 28 on the roster, I believe.
Well, this is a JV team.
Speaking of rushing, first quarter, Georgetown, 12 rushes, 58 yards. Pikeville, 5 for 7 yards. And 97 yards to 13. Pikeville, 13 yards on 10 plays. So the offense has to get going here just a little bit.
2nd and goal. Handoff up the middle.
Still fighting for yards. Man, pull him down.
That is Jonathan Taylor, the freshman, 5'10", 192 pounds, and boy, he got a head of steam and just kept pushing the line.
Georgetown has had, as I mentioned, their way with moving the football. They've the last 6 or 7 plays predominantly with the run, but their quarterback, actually, good arm on the football.
3 yards for 6 points for the Georgetown Tigers. They'll try to pick it up on this play as McEwen stops short. That'll bring up 4th down.
I'd say this is definitely 4-down territory. With the way they've been able to run the football, they should go pretty much straight up the middle. 2 yards out, though. We'll have to see if Pikeville can make a stand. They call it the ball's on the 2, so they have 2 yards to go, and we'll see if they go around the corner or try to stick it up the middle. It looks like that Pikeville is trying to clog the lanes up the middle. If they run to the left, they have a touchdown. I'll tell you that right now.
Taylor and McEwen split in the back. The handoff to McEwen. They have stopped him. A big stop for Pikeville College. Wow.
I tell you what, I'm not going to second guess because I'm not a true football man, but why do you run to the right when there's nobody to the left? If you see the replay from up top, there was nobody on the left side. If they run that play to the left, they walk into the end zone.
If you're going to play counter, you got to counter with protection, and they did not. So a huge stop for Pikeville College, but they're going to be pinned up against their own goal line.
If you have a 98-yard play, you might want to use it now, or a 95-yard play.
Well, I'm guessing Pikeville College only has about 40 or 60 plays in the books, 42, 60. So we'll see if in there is a 98-yard play. Just going to try to get some running room here and some room to work with as they hand it off up the middle.
Of course, we'll see how their running game is, because Zach Willis wants to do. Obviously, you want to have try to get a 50-50 mix if you can, if your team's capable of that. And it looks as if Pikeville is going to try to run the football at least until 3rd down, maybe, unless we have a little play action, just try to get some yardage.
So 2nd and 8 now. Cutting to the outside, looking for some room that he will not find, is Derek Dewberry.
John Cordoza was the first, or Schneider, check that, was the first man through and caused some problems. Cordoza was there later on, and Pikeville pinned back, and not a place you want to punt from because you don't have the full 12 to 15 yards on the long snap if they don't gain another yard.
Dewberry now the lone setback again. Pretty much same formation on 3rd and 11. They hand it to him, dangerous in the end zone. He breaks open maybe 3 yards.
He may have gotten back to the line of scrimmage, and this is going to bring up great field position for Georgetown. And with Pikeville's lack of coverage at times, McEwen, he's going to stand at about the 36-yard line. He could take off with one, as we have a new punter now, Paul Jones.
Now let's see what happens on this play.
No, check that. That's Rumpf. I'm sorry, it's Rumpf.
4th and 10. He quick kicks it out of there. This ball taken near the 35 to the 30, 25, and knocked out of bounds near the 20. Number 29, Tucker McEwen.
Travis Washington on the tackle and had a good gain. Takes it down to the 21, about the 15-yard return. So great return for on the punt. And Rumpf took a little time. I don't know why he was punting, unless, of course, it's first game of the year, and Zach just wants to find out what he can and can't do. Great field position and a great tackle by Washington. If he turns that corner, he could go 21 more yards.
Play action again. Plenty of time. McEwen in the end zone and incomplete. We do have a flag on the play. Let's see what that is.
I still want to know who number 2 is for Pikeville, because if it's not Courtney Rumpf, I don't know who it is. I know it's not Quintus Cumbie from Kentucky. I know it's not that young man. But the flags are on Pikeville, maybe. Did not see the preliminary signal.
Dead ball, personal foul on the red team, personal foul on the white team, but disqualified both players.
Wow.
Wow. First game of the year, and they're disqualified. And I tell you, this is, for JV, I don't know if the rules are the same for varsity.
They can't be. They can't be. I didn't even see it.
They are ejected on a play that really didn't gain a lot of attention from anybody, because and I think the players that is ejected wow, this is interesting.
I didn't see what happened, and I'm just wondering what the rules
Haji Jackson is, I believe, was the young man who ran off the field, number 43 for Pikeville.
Number 76 for Georgetown is Matt Brickley, who also ran off the field. He seems to be having a good talking to right here. Number 76, he's taking off his helmet. He may be the other that is ejected.
You know, this is tough for any team because Pike, on a JV schedule, you only play 6 games a year. And so that means he has to sit out the next one and leave this game early on.
The dust is settled, 2nd and 10, play action. And guess who got leveled again?
And if that's a flag, and if they call that a late hit, that is a bad call. I'll tell you that right now. Michael Braxton forced the issue.
Hold, 23 orange.
Okay, that's good. That was a late flag because he had already gotten rid of the ball. Johnson had already gotten rid of the football, and the play was almost already incomplete before the flag starts coming through. So holding on Georgetown, and that's actually orange. He's calling it red, but it's actually orange, so I hope his vision is corrected.
More than 2 syllables.
And now he calls it orange, so
that'll be a big 2nd and 20 coming up. And Bart Johnson, the quarterback for Georgetown, has taken some huge hits. The back of his jersey has to be filthy. And he's probably had his bell rung a couple times here.
Well, Matt Bricky, if that was number 76, he's ejected. I have not seen a Pikeville player leave the game and head to the locker room.
Pass is complete, but nowhere really to go.
About 5 Pikeville Bears swarmed to the football.
That's O'Shea Hudspeth, the sophomore. He's 6'3", 195.
Hudspeth and Cape have been the 2 receivers he's thrown to. You see the replay, one nice move, but he goes back to the place that he just made the juke, and it really defeats the purpose. If you move once, you don't go back to the same spot.
Not many yards after the catch. 3rd and 15 now for Georgetown as Johnson goes back to pass, looking for the end zone, open in the end zone. Stoy Young, touchdown Georgetown.
Great move. He got inside the defender, and any coach will tell you, push the man to the outside. And he got inside the coverage, and that was a great throw. That's our man Tracy Hensley down there. Look at the camera work from Tracy.
That is worthy of NFL films. Perfect. Stoy Young, the touchdown, 13-0, Georgetown over Pikeville. 9:28 left to go here in the 2nd quarter. Jason Coy looking to make it a 14-0 game. And he does. So with 9:28 left to go in the first half, Georgetown leads Pikeville College 14-0. But the Pikeville defense, nevertheless, even though they've given up 2 touchdowns, they have come up with some big plays, especially considering the fact this is a team that's only played together as a team for the first time tonight.
Well, that drive, the defense could only had 21 yards to play with. And after they made the great stop at the goal line, it turns around and bites you because then you only have 21 yards that you give to Georgetown. And that only took 2 minutes and 10 seconds, so they didn't take very long again.
Well, if we could take a look at what Pikeville has brought in more than 80 players, 83 players to be exact. 28 are from Eastern Kentucky, 20 of those from Pike County, 25 are from South Carolina, and 16 from Georgia, and the others hail from elsewhere. But you think about the base that Zach Willis wanted to bring in was Pike County, and or Eastern Kentucky, I should say. And when he had his first recruiting class, he had 20 signees signed in April. 19 were from Pike County. The 20th of the first 20 signees was from Flaming Neon. So it was all Eastern Kentucky to start out.
And that Flaming Neon player, one of the greatest names in sports overtime history, Random Duty. You can't, you got to love that name. That's definitely one of the all-name teams. Name guys is Random Duty.
So Georgetown set to kick this off to Pikeville College. John Lewis along with Brian Milam at Rawlings Stadium in Georgetown, where the Pikeville College Bears playing their first ever football game. And this ball,
another big return maybe,
will be taken down at the 30-yard line. That is number 8, Greg Williamson.
Tamal Hoogley almost stripped the football from him. It was a good job for him to hold on. And that's twice on 2 kickoff returns that Pikeville's had a very good return. That return close to 26 yards or so.
My question, and we talked about this before the game started, my question was, would special teams be a problem? So far, it is not. As Paul Jones will take the ball, and he fights for an extra 3 on that play.
That was a good pickup by Brandon. It was a bad snap, and that was actually a lateral. That went about 1.5 yards behind. It was a swing pass out in the flat, but that was actually a lateral. And good job by Jones, pick up 4 or 5 yards on the play.
We'll call it 4, 2nd and 6. Ball is on the 35-yard line. Branton making his calls there. In the shotgun. Airs it out.
Oh, if he hits him on the money, he's gone.
Number 81, Tommy Parker Jr. had his defender beaten, but that ball just overthrown, and that will bring up 3rd down.
Branton has a good form to him and releases the ball well. He hasn't thrown any bad passes that I can think of. Has done very well throwing the football and seems to be pretty poised back there.
Just a freshman, but you look at him up close. He doesn't look like a freshman, and certainly not playing like a freshman right now. Pass is complete to Paul Jones again.
Ball came loose, but the ground obviously cannot cause a fumble. I'll tell you who he looks like when he throws the football. To me, reminds me a little bit of Chris Redmond because he keeps it right here.
Right.
He doesn't drop the ball, and his body looks like Redmond, very lean. And, of course, that's a pretty good comparison, but if he gets drafted by the Ravens in the 3rd round in 4 years, it'd be even better.
He's 6'4", 190, and he's already picked up a 1st down, so ball is now on the 42-yard line.
The 2nd first down for Pikeville.
Draw play. Marcus King got some good blocking and got it near the 1st down marker.
Great moves by King, kept his feet moving. And he's a bowling ball with legs. He's a short, stocky guy, and nice play by number 5, Marcus King. And he may be the running threat that Pikeville will have to use. 8 yards on the pickup, and Pikeville's at midfield and having a decent drive so far.
2nd and 2. Branton calling the play. Quick out. And the ball was dropped by Greg Williamson. Incomplete.
That brings up a 3rd and short, and I'd say King would be the guy who they would go to up the middle. But Pikeville takes out some of their bigger players and puts in some speed. So
Derek Dewberry in the game
maybe
now.
they think that they could pass the ball here on 3rd and 2.
Well, Branton does go back into the shotgun. I wouldn't be shocked to see Dewberry take it up the middle. And Georgetown coming with the blitz. Dewberry does take it up the middle, and he's got the 1st down and more. Looking for the end zone and taken down at the 30-yard line. One of the defenders had him by the back of the jersey, or he would have been gone.
Nice play. You saw the blitz, and either one of two things are obviously going to happen. Either the player, whoever that player is running the football, will take it a long way, or he'll be smacked behind the line of scrimmage. And that was just a great, nice play.
And they waste no time getting it to Paul Jones. But number 53, Justin Stearns for Georgetown, saved a touchdown.
Grabbed him by a handful of the jersey. That's the only thing that saved 6 points. And that play right there to Jones, the little quick hitter out in the flat, he reverses his field, and he has blocking. It's pretty much a misdirection play. Once again, I've seen Breathitt County at practice do that numerous times.
Same play. Dewberry, more success. Take it down near the 15.
If I'm Zach Willis, guess what I'm going to do this play? Give it to Dewberry or King right up the middle, because that, being in the shotgun formation, is confusing Georgetown's defense.
Georgetown came with a blitz on that, and Dewberry was able to make it through.
Well, let him keep blitzing. That's fine with us. I'd say, we're supposed to be unbiased, but obviously you kind of root for the guys who have never played football before at the collegiate level.
In Pikeville, trying to hurry it up in the end zone. Guess what? Derek Dewberry getting close to pay dirt. Pikeville College, the fans on the other sideline over there just waiting for that historic first touchdown, and Dewberry trying to make it happen.
Zach Willis animated on the sidelines. He threw his headset, not pleased with maybe a downfield block, but I could see him on the other side, from the far side of the field pointing, and he was very upset with maybe a block, but heck, another first down, it's 1st and goal.
6 yards to go for 6 points for the Pikeville College Bears. Branton in the shotgun, hands it off to Dewberry again. Dewberry getting close maybe to the 3-yard line.
This has been what Zach Willis didn't want to do offensively, was run the football, but usually if you keep it simple, simplicity, the way the game was originally played, you ran the football, and Pikeville is having their way with a much more experienced Georgetown front line and Georgetown team.
3 yards to go. 2nd down. Branton in the shotgun. Play action. Looking for the end zone. Throws it in. Touchdown, Pikeville.
Terrence Pride, and take the football and bronze it and put it in a trophy case. The first 6 points ever.
And they threw the ball back in, so the ball will be used. But, yeah, I would really steal that football. Make sure that ends up in a trunk somewhere.
3 yards, and we now have a ball game again. Tell you, you almost want to jump out of the chair and give him a big, all right, that's first touchdown ever. Congratulations to Pikeville.
The point after attempt, blocked. So the score now at 5:01 in the second quarter, it's Georgetown 14, Pikeville 6. Derek Dewberry may be the bread and butter for the ground game of Zach Willis. Before the game, there was some Zach Willis. We talked with Zach Willis, and he had some things to say about how he thought the running game may be progressing more than the passing game. It obviously did on that drive. So with the score at 14-6, we will take a quick break. We'll be back with more action.
We have a TV timeout.
No, it wasn't. Sorry. Yeah, we will here pretty soon. Okay.
You want me to send it to the side?
Yeah.
The first shot still will be number 10, Ken. Okay. As soon as this first play is, as soon as the kickoff is over, and they start bringing guys in and off the field, I'll send it to the first side. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So yeah, just let him kick this off, and then we'll do it. Georgetown 14, Pikeville College 6. Derek Dewberry led the ground attack, and it was finished off for Pikeville with a touchdown pass to Terrence Pride. Offside kick, recovered.
recovered, and Georgetown lucky to get the football. And Zach Willis, we talked to him and said, what do you expect out of these guys? And he said, well, out of Georgetown, we don't know really what to expect, but our guys, we are definitely going to have to start with the fundamentals and start with the basics.
We don't have a whole lot of information on Georgetown. We tried to give them some general rules about formations and coach them up on those, but this is a JV football game, and we're doing as much as we can just to get them fundamentally sound. First, obviously, I came up through the Lou Holtz way of doing things, and the first thing you start with are fundamentals. And we're trying to get a fundamentally sound football team on the field before we even get into actual game planning. We have done a minimal amount, but to be honest with you, we've been so pressed for time, very little.
Of course, Zach Willis, very pressed for time. When you think that they just announced in February, less than a year ago, hey, we're going to have a football team, and then 7 or 8 months later, here we are playing football, and they're showing very well, representing Eastern Kentucky, excellent, down 14-6.
2nd and 10 now. Screen pass is complete to number 26, Jonathan Taylor.
Well, Anton Brown was all over Bart Johnson, the quarterback, but that's what the screen was designed to do, grab the defensive line. And that's one of my favorite plays, is the little tight end screen or the halfback screen, because you take away the entire defensive line. The secondary goes off with the receivers, and there's nobody left in the middle if the linebacker doesn't stay home.
1st down and 10, ball on the 29-yard line for Georgetown. Johnson sacked again, and he got buried under about 400 pounds of Pikeville College.
Charlie Miller was in there, as well as Michael Braxton. Some crunches going right there.
Probably more than 400 pounds, because you look at Michael Braxton, that kid's 280.
That's a lot of man. You see him right there. That is a lot of man bearing down on you. From Folkston, Georgia.
2nd and 16 now, as McEwen goes into motion. And a draw play that fooled Pikeville and fooled me for a second.
Great footwork. Wow, that's a Jonathan Taylor from Mason County, Kentucky. Great footwork, and I believe he picked up close to first down, about 3 yards short. So good, about 12, 13-yard pickup.
Good job of Bart Johnson of selling that draw. I mean, you look at him there, the defense still going after the quarterback.
Well, Bart Johnson, obviously a well-schooled athlete. He went to Boyle County. We've seen what they've done over the last year and a half and what they're doing this year.
And what they will do at the end of the year, no doubt.
Definitely.
3rd and 5. The pitch to Jonathan Taylor.
Great defense.
Stopped before he gets to the down marker. That'll bring up 4th down.
That'll be a 4th and about 3. Great defense. I thought he may get to the corner, and once he did, he had an alley, but Pikeville sealed it off. As Vince Lombardi said, we want a seal here and a seal here and run it through the alley. Only Pikeville closed down the alley, and it's 4th and 3, and Pikeville's defense going to have to make one more stand as they're going for it.
4th and 3. Ball is on the 22-yard line. 2 minutes, 20 seconds left to go here in the second quarter. Georgetown leads 14-6. Trying to add to that total here on 4th down. They hand it off to Derek White.
And he didn't
White
get
is
it.
stopped. Huge defensive stand again from Pikeville College. Great job.
Travis Washington, number 56, leading the pack that's running off the field. He has made a lot of great tackles tonight, and you can see 56 right there. Big hit, and Washington helps stop the 4th down play, and Pikeville gets the football with 2 minutes, 12 seconds, and I would say the passing game's got to start out this drive. But the running game has been very successful.
No doubt. They got to march at 80 yards for a score. Branton in the shotgun, airing it out here, incomplete. Tommy Parker Jr., the intended receiver, 2nd down.
That's 3 times that Branton has gone to Parker Jr. on the same little fade pattern, and he's overshot him by about 5 yards each time. So one of 2 things has to happen. Either throw it higher where he gets more air underneath the football, or maybe break off the route a little bit. And because if he gets the slant, there's nobody in this secondary, on the right side of the secondary that's going to catch him.
Draw play. That's Marcus King, and King got the first down.
The draw play out of the shotgun formation, at least 60 yards on the last, at least the last 7 plays, running plays. That's been
maybe a conservative estimate, no doubt. It's
and,
paid off for Zach Willis.
Well,
for
Zach
sure.
said he wanted to be conservative, but this is very surprising. I think he'd be ecstatic right now if you went and asked him.
Ball is on the 31-yard line. 1:40 and counting. Branton going to the air and overshot, and they want a pass interference call on that because it looked like Jake McNear over there may have tripped up the receiver. They won't get the flag.
Well, had 2 kind of in the same area, which obviously Greg Williamson, number 8, was one of them, and the other was Terrence Pride, and they were almost too close together. They were both on the sideline about maybe 5 yards apart. I'd like to see Pikeville go back to the little slant because it's been more successful than the balls downfield.
2nd down 10. It'll be 2nd or 3rd and more than 10 here as Georgetown stops the runner in the backfield.
If I'm Georgetown, I call a timeout. You're going to set up a 3rd and long. And if I'm Pikeville now, I'd just let the clock run here a little bit because that was a big play. If you don't make it on this play, then I would run the ball and just keep the clock running because you've taken so much time right now that there's not really a chance to score unless it's a big play.
Well, they'll take their time as we're at 55 seconds here. It'll be 3rd and 12. Ball is on the 31-yard line.
Now, wait a minute. Something happened
here.
The
play clock was never
ago.
running.
The play clock was at 9 seconds, and then all of a sudden it reset before they even called timeout. So,
well, while we get this straightened out, we're going to take a break. 50 seconds left to go here in the 2nd quarter. Georgetown 14, Pikeville 6. I don't know what happened there.
The play clock was running down, and then all of a sudden they reset it. Okay, now they've reset the clock to 1:03. Boop, boop. What's up with that?
Wow, that's...
Hey, we are at Boise, Idaho for the the Crucial.com Blue Carpet Bowl. So what's Muskrat over there doing? Scouting?
yeah.
Oh, boy.
Well, they put 1:03 seconds on the clock now. There was some confusion with the play clock. For some reason was reset as the Pikeville Bears are trying to take their time. So we'll have 1:03 now left to go in the half.
Well, I'm kind of confused why, because the play clock was down to 9 and the game clock was at 50 seconds. And then you see Branton call timeout. They had 9 more seconds, but obviously somebody called a timeout before that. And a lot of confusion, of course, maybe for some of these college officials. It's, still early in the season.
So now we'll have 56 seconds. They reset the clock. So 56 seconds. Play clock is running at 24 and running down. 3rd and 12, ball into 29 for Pikeville. Branton looking down the sideline, intercepted by Georgetown.
Intercepted by Georgetown and Pikeville. There's no flag, but they're calling it incomplete now. I thought he had the interception. They're calling it incomplete, but Terrence Pride grabbed Walker as he was going down. We see the replay right here. Before that, he had to become the defender, but he had a handful of jersey, and that should have been offensive pass interference.
So we'll have a timeout on the field. 49 seconds left to play. It's Georgetown 14, Pikeville College 6. did.
So, John, great to see you.
I'll drive if you want me to. I don't care. All right. Want to come back with the Kentucky South Florida game? Full screen. Just come back straight on it.
That'd be great.
More football comes your way this weekend. Kentucky takes on South Florida. We'll have the game for you. Tape delayed Saturday night, 11:30, right here on your Mountain Television. Right now, 14-6, Georgetown leads over Pikeville College. 49 seconds left to go in the first half. At Rawlings Stadium, home of the Georgetown Tigers and training camp for the Cincinnati Bengals, just north of Lexington, Kentucky.
This field's great shape. There's a couple of bare spots at the 20s and the 30, but the 30 to our left. But this is a very, very nice facility. Everything has been revamped over on the practice field. The sprinkler system's on at the practice field, and I don't think there's many places around that can say we have a sprinkler system on the practice field.
Very few. 1st and 10 for the Georgetown Tigers as they lead 14-6. And Bart Johnson escapes another sack, airs it out toward the end zone, and broken up at the 10-yard line.
Braxton had the pressure in the backfield. And then Williams from Valdosta, Georgia for Pikeville. Nice defense out of the secondary, out of this ball game. Only one breakdown, the touchdown here a few minutes ago. But I'd say Jason Williams out of Valdosta, Georgia. Of course, that's the home of Hal Mumme. Well, it was at one time the home of Hal Mumme. And if they pass a lot down there, being a secondary man, he probably had to defend a lot of passes in high school.
Don't doubt it. 2nd and 10. Johnson across the middle, tipped and incomplete. And Johnson ends up on his back again.
Doug Screen laid him out as soon as he got rid of the football. And Screen, he's 6 foot. He's not 275, I'm telling you, folks. That's about 285, 290. He is very quick off the football, and he has pressured Johnson a lot tonight. Him along with Michael Braxton and Anton Brown.
Apparently Georgetown not happy to go into the locker room with just an 8-point lead, as they're not going to try to run time off the clock, at least in the first 2 plays. They went to the air. We'll see what happens here on 3rd and 10. They fake the pitch, throwing it again. That is complete to O'Shea Hudspeth.
B.J. Jackson again all over Johnson as he let it go. Great job by Bart Johnson to keep the composure, knowing he's going to have to take a hit. And Jackson got him right in the sternum. And nice catch by O'Shea Hudspeth. He's made some nice glove work out there.
14-6 your score. And Georgetown, a lot of teams, they're up 14-6. They'll go ahead and crank it out and then go into the locker room comfortable with that lead. But they want to add another score.
Well,
apparently.
If Pikeville can keep this at 14-6, obviously the understatement of the game would be that Zach Willis is pleased, because I'd think a lot of people are surprised at this score at the moment, especially by the way the game started, because you and I and Rick Bentley with Pikeville College SID and Jason Falls, the SID here at Georgetown, and all of the other media, we were asking one another, well, how do you think it's going to be? Some bad, some good, and I think everybody's a little surprised right now.
No doubt. It was hard to judge what this team would do. You can't say, I think Georgetown will win, I think Pikeville will win. It was a matter of how do you think they're going to play. I thought special teams would be a problem. So far, that's not been the case, and it's just hard. It's hard to know. You've never seen a team play, and they've never played together as a team for the first time. Not too bad against this Georgetown junior varsity team. 1st and 10 for Georgetown as Bart Johnson looks to pass one more time, looking for the end zone, and that one is incomplete.
Hey, Johnson is taking some licks.
He really
Anton
is.
Brown and B.J. Jackson hit him immediately, and he's checking to make sure all the marbles are still there and all the cards are in the deck. He's got the Troy Aikman syndrome here at the moment, a little headache.
Well, he had to put his shoe back on after that one. His shoulder pad's a little off kilter. Like to know how many knockdowns he has so far.
Excellent push out of the defensive tackles by Jackson and Anton Brown. Of course, you mentioned Doug Screen. Man, from Bainbridge, Georgia. Doug Screen, that just sounds like a bad man. Bainbridge, Georgia.
Flags down on the play. The play clock ran dead. That'll be a delay of game. 17 seconds left to go.
Dead ball foul before the snap, delay of game, 5-yard penalty.
So the ball will be moved back 5 yards, 2nd and 15. We'll put it on the 41-yard line, and not going to be surprised if Johnson goes right for the end zone again.
I tell you what, if he does go for the end zone, I'd like to see one of the low-level camera angles stay on the quarterback, because if he takes the shots that he's taken over the last 3 or 4 plays,
Second down.
by the end of the third quarter, middle of the fourth, if he makes it that far, he's going to have his players pick him up off the ground. He is taking some licks as Pikeville sets their defense, and they will bring 5, probably drop the nose guard back, who would then become the Mike linebacker, and he falls back into formation.
Johnson throws it for the sideline. Did he catch it? Yes, he did.
Great catch.
Excellent.
Daryl Stevens. No, check that. Check that Stoy Young again. Man, did he keep the toes in. That's an NFL-type play. Of course, we're at an NFL-type complex, so nice catch by Stoy Young.
And that's good for a first down. 10 seconds left to go here in the first half. 14-6. Georgetown over Pikeville College. Zach Willis said he just didn't want to be embarrassed and hoped his team would be in it at halftime.
Well, if he can hold for 10 seconds, he'd be extremely thrilled to go in only down 8.
24 yards to go. Pikeville will try to hold him out of the end zone. Incomplete. Stoy Young, the intended receiver.
And Tracy Hensley almost had visions of Estill County, Middlesboro last year, because he almost got it from Courtney Rump. He almost got it. And Tracy, for those who were at that Middlesboro game, he took a shot from Jeremy Skidmore that he still talks about, and everybody at Middlesboro still talks about. And in that game last year, that Middlesboro won 69-64, and that was a football score.
Well, they line up to kick the field goal, but Georgetown will take a timeout.
Time was running out on the play clock. They only had 2 or 3 seconds left. And if they went back to the 30, it had been a 40-yarder, and that would have not been a gimme.
So they'll try to line it up again. Again, Pikeville College playing their first ever football game. The school was founded in 1889. Here in the year 2000, they play their first football game. They bring in Zach Willis, who is an assistant at South Carolina under Lou Holtz last year, who's had coaching experience on the offensive and defensive side. He's been a coordinator for both. And he said when he came in, his thing was to throw the ball. That was his game plan. I think as practice has progressed, and again, he only had his first recruits in April, as the summer progressed, maybe the running game developed a little quicker than the passing game. And we saw that on the touchdown drive earlier, the one touchdown that Pikeville College has put on the board. We have 6 seconds left to go here in the first half. It's 14-6. Georgetown looking to add 3 points.
This could be a
to that.
41-yarder. If they had not taken that time out, it would have been a 48-yarder or 47-yarder.
Jason Coy looking to put it through. The kick is blocked. And taken at the 10. The block kick can be returned. As the clock goes off, he's still on his feet, but taken down at the 45. Boy, that one looked like it could be historic in itself.
What a way to end the half. I tell you, even though it didn't. Look at the kids come off the field from Pikeville. They are pumped up, and Georgetown kind of thinking, hey, we're happy to be in the lead here, really.
Those Pikeville kids, if we get a look at them running off the field, they are excited. The reason being they thought that, they may be hurting here after halftime. Only down 14-6. Great job by Pikeville College. They are not out of this game by any means. 14-6, Georgetown over Pikeville. We are at halftime. We'll take a break. We'll be back with your halftime festivities after this. Surprise.
What do you want to do?
We're gonna bring in Jason in here, Jason Falls. So let's
Those lights on.
turn. All right. All right. Will you turn that light on right there, please? And tell Jason to come in here when he can. I think so.
Is Jason their sports information director?
Yes, he is. Rick Bentley's in here right now. We're going to talk to Rick.
Do you want to talk about their schedule? I have that.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to talk to Rick. You're going to talk to. Come on here. We're talking to Rick Bentley. He is the sports information director. Here we go. Coming. Okay. Well, we're 20 away, so. Yeah. Okay. All right. And welcome back to Rawlings Stadium. John Lewis along with Rick Bentley, Sports Information Director over at Pikeville College. Are you surprised by this halftime score of 14-6 Georgetown?
Well, I'm a little surprised we're not ahead, to be honest about it. I really thought we'd do, but I thought we were going to be pretty good, and I think we are. I think our defense is really holding up and playing really well. A couple of kinks you got to get out on the offensive side, but I'll tell you what, I think that we played pretty well, especially after that first Georgetown drive. That's when they scored their first touchdown. You take that out, and it's pretty much 7-6.
Rick, this has been a historic night for Pikeville. I know this Pikeville College football team, they were ready to play tonight. A lot of attention coming to Pikeville College.
Sure, yeah. There's been, we've been very fortunate. We've got a lot of friends in the media, and they've been very kind to us. Starting, with what you guys have done here, coming here, like Jason said a while ago, the first football game ever telecast from Rawlings Stadium is going to be a junior varsity game, and we really appreciate that because what we're doing is treating it like it's not a JV game.
Right.
We're treating it like it's varsity, like we're doing the real thing here, and I think that's the only way you can go at it. Hopefully, we're doing that both on the field and off.
What are some of the things, some of the attention that you've been getting over there, and have the football players and the coaches been able to handle all this attention? I think they're a little surprised by it.
Some of the guys are getting a little bit used to it. Adam Bailey probably has been interviewed by every media member in Kentucky by now. He's been very, very good, and they do an outstanding job. They're really good, really positive, and Coach Willis is right there every time I need him, no matter who it is, no matter what it is. We go to speaking engagements and everything like that. Any media people who want him or any of the players, they have full access to him. Of course, Rick Bailey did an outstanding job in Herald Leader today with a great piece on what's going on at Pikeville College and the excitement that's being generated here. And I tell you, we've got a small crowd over there, but you can hear them a lot.
Oh,
if
absolutely.
If you're over here on this side, that's pretty good ways to be listening to over there. So we're really, really happy with them, and I know that you guys are doing really good ratings back in Pikeville right now. I tell you, I guarantee you the dorms are just booming right now.
Well, we hope so. Rick Bentley, we appreciate all the help that you've given us leading up to this. A lot of you people don't know. You think that we have all this information just at our fingertips. We do because of these guys like Sports Information Director Rick Bentley over at Pikeville College. Good luck to you guys in the second half.
Thanks a lot. We really appreciate you guys being here for us tonight.
Glad to do it. We're going to take another break. We'll be back to Rawlings Stadium after this. Okay, that's fine. We'll be back with Jason. Jason Falls.
Hey.
Okay. All right, we've got about 12 minutes left to go before we start, so we'll have plenty of time for all that. They're typing in stats right now. Okay. I'd say. Okay. Well, let's. He's out right now, but we'll get him. We'll do this interview and then take another break. Keep him busy in there, man.
Yeah. Stat crew a little rough the first quarter, but we're okay.
That's all right.
We're doing all right. Missed a few things, but
That's good. That's all right. Yeah. Okay. Scoot this way. There we go. Oh, you can hear him.
yeah, I got it. It's my tie straight, guys.
Looking good, man. Welcome back to Rawlings Stadium. John Lewis along with Jason Falls, the Georgetown Sports Information Director now, who also has some Pikeville ties.
Yeah, I am a 1991 graduate of Pikeville High School. Grew up right across the street from the Pikeville College gym, so very familiar with Pikeville College, the area, and certainly very familiar with WYMT. I think you guys hit the airwaves when I was, in my teens, somewhere along in there. So very familiar with YMT and with Pikeville College, and I'm just proud as can be of the college and President Smith's decision to bring football into the college, and I'm glad they're joining the Mid-South Conference to be along with us at Georgetown so that we can start a new rivalry, a new friendship, of course going back to the old KIAC and basketball and things of that nature. But now that Pikeville College has football, it makes the circle complete.
Tell us a little bit about what it's been like leading up to this game. I know obviously a JV team or a JV game won't get that much publicity, but we were talking to Rick Bentley before from Pikeville College. A lot of publicity going into this game, obviously, because it's Pikeville's first football game.
That's true, and people who picked up the Herald Leader today saw a nice feature article by Rick Bailey, and the media surrounding this event has really been unreal from a point of view of someone who works varsity games that don't get this quite this much attention. When Georgetown College plays a rival like Campbellsville or someone like Cumberland College that's an in-state rival, we certainly get our fair share of attention, but it's normally not televised. We normally don't have a full press box, and so tonight, the first junior varsity game that I've ever worked, that I've been breaking a sweat.
Jason, let's talk about the varsity team of Georgetown. Runners-up in the NAIA last year. Off to a winning start already this year. Last win over St. Francis, I believe it was. What do you think about Georgetown again this year as far as the football team goes, looking for another NAIA championship, which they already have won?
Well, we are certainly a very, very good football team this year. Our team speed has improved quite a bit. We have 7 offensive and 9 defensive starters returning from last year's team that was 13-1, and they're very, very hungry. Coming off an upset loss in the national championship game, we were up 20-0 at halftime. Northwestern Oklahoma State, a very, very good, sound football team, forced a few turnovers in the second half, and we lost that game. So the guys are really hungry. They're active. They're ready to play. When they took the field at St. Francis, Illinois this past weekend, you could tell that they were ready to play football again, especially the defense. The offense was a little rusty, but we're a very good football team starting out, and Coach Cronin will tell you, although many people disagree, that we weren't a very good football team starting last year.
Yeah.
So we're ahead of schedule this year, and we like that because we've got a very tough Virginia Wise team, the former Clinch Valley. We play them on September 16th on the road, and then we go into conference play against Union and North Greenville, a couple other schools. So it's going to be a tough year for us, and the Mid-South Conference had 3 playoff teams last year, postseason teams last year. So we've got our work cut out for us, but we feel like we'll be right there in Savannah, Tennessee on December 16th.
Jason, 14-6 here at halftime. Georgetown leads Pikeville. What do you think?
I think Pikeville College has an excellent defense for a first game. Their defense is playing very well. Their defensive backs are very physical, very good athletes. They're hitting our offense very hard. I think offensively there's just a timing problem. Scott Branton is a heck of a quarterback, and you can tell that once he gets the timing worked out with the wide receivers, this team's going to score some points. And they've had some very, very nice patterns that just haven't worked out because of the timing. And so once he and the receivers get their timing down, I really think Pikeville College is going to have a nice JV football team, and that looks well for the future for Pikeville College.
Jason Falls, we want to thank you. A lot of people don't know what a sports information director does, and I can tell you firsthand from this guy right here, they do it all. Everything from the stats, the information, to even get us hooked up here in the nice little booth, and we do appreciate that.
Well, as long as I don't get electrocuted, I think we'll be okay.
Well, that's what we're all hoping for, and hopefully we can finish out this game. Thank you, Jason Falls. Good luck to Georgetown in the second half, and we will be back with more coverage of Georgetown versus Pikeville coming up right after this.
Excellent.
Good job, man. Thank you. How long is this break? Okay, Brian. When do we want to use these sods? Okay. So we got to keep it here for 5.5 minutes or whatever. Okay. That's all right. We'll be all right. If we need to, we'll just take it. You want to do some stats here?
Yeah.
All right. Let's do stats, and which site you want to use?
Which site? Let's use the number 9. Number 9, the second one, talks about the building blocks for the future and all that stuff. Now remember, on that out cue, it's gonna, as soon as the out cue hits, it goes everywhere. Let's turn off these lights.
Yeah, you don't need to see us anymore. Yes. Stats before the sides. Yeah, it is.
I want to see that blonde come back. It'd be even better.
So we'll just keep it here the next 420.
Yeah, it's cool.
Welcome back to Rawlings Stadium, where Georgetown leads Pikeville. Maybe a surprising score to some, Brian Milam, 14-6 over Pikeville College. Of course, this is Pikeville College's first ever football game. The school founded in 1889, putting a football team in relatively quick fashion on the field. They announced they were going to have football in February. They hired a coach, got their first signees in April. Here it is, September 2000. And we are at halftime, 14-6. This team put together quickly, doing well against an established Georgetown junior varsity team, Brian.
Especially the defense. The defense has done an outstanding job. Georgetown jumped out to a quick 7-0 lead. Michael Caba had a 32-yard run, and at 12, just in 2 minutes and 50 seconds, it was 7-0, and then it was 14-0. And the defense just crunched them and said, "You're not going to score anymore." They blocked the field goal at the end of the half. Some stats on the first half. Georgetown pretty much dominates in some of these, but they're also somewhat deceiving. Scored, of course, 14-6. Rushing yards, Pikeville 69, and they got all of those yards pretty much on the last drive and a half. Georgetown 22 rushes, 89 yards. Passing yards well in favor of Georgetown, 116-24. Penalties, 3 for 44 for Pikeville, 4 for 25 yards for Georgetown. And the time of possession, at the end of the first quarter, Georgetown really led in time of possession. Now it's evened up a little bit, 16 minutes, 27 seconds to 13:33. But the thing you don't see in the stat sheet is how many times Bart Johnson has to pick himself up off the ground. That's the Georgetown quarterback, because the Pikeville defensive line has ran through that what's turned out to be a very porous offensive line for Georgetown.
Obviously, we saw the passing yards. Bart Johnson able to throw the ball, but even when he got it away, as you mentioned, he would have to pick turf out of the back of his helmet because he was getting laid down. And that's something that I'm sure that they talked about to the offensive line at halftime in Georgetown. Again, 14-6, Georgetown leads over Pikeville College in Pikeville College's inaugural game here at Georgetown's Rawlings Stadium, home of the Georgetown Tigers, former NAIA champions. They went to the went to the championship game last year. They were runners-up, and of course, Rawlings Stadium also home to the Cincinnati Bengals here in Georgetown. Zach Willis said before that at the level that Pikeville is right now, and you compare them to other schools, they have a chance to be the Cadillac of football programs. He said before today's game, he didn't want to be embarrassed. Hopefully his team would be out here in the thick of things at halftime, and they would come out here and be able to, compete with this team. I think both sides may be a little surprised with a 14-6 score.
I think Georgetown definitely is, because they have the tradition, they have everything, the experience, and I really think that they thought they could have their way with them. But Georgetown, or check that, Pikeville, they're building towards the future. And the young kids, they have 76 freshmen, 7 sophomores, and they know that for the future, the young guys, they are definitely the building blocks for success.
That's what the great thing about starting this team is. We all come in here. We're all new and we're all young. We build together. We win, we lose together.
The sky's the limit for this team, I feel like. I mean, the talent's just unreal for a first-year program, and the coaches just did a great job getting everybody rounded up, and I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, it's very exciting, be able to build a program from the ground level up, to be say back, 15, 20 years from now, you started that program, you helped build it up to what it is, in the future.
Well, we are ready to start the second half. Again, we want to pass along our thanks to Georgetown Sports Information Director Jason Falls and Pikeville Sports Information Director Rick Bentley. These guys have been invaluable getting us stats and information and access to everything that we've needed from the coaches and players. We do appreciate that. 14-6, we're ready to kick off the third quarter. Pikeville will have the ball first. You expect to see more running here in the second half, Brian?
Very possibly. Before the game, we'd have said, no, it's going to see trips to the left and twins to the right, or 2 men, slots to either side. But I think the running game definitely will be a big factor for Pikeville, and an unexpected factor. And for anybody out there wanting to get into sports administration, talk to Jason Falls. This guy knows how to get it done.
He has definitely gotten it done. Pikeville College looking on the kickoff return, looking to score. He is gone. Touchdown, Pikeville College. Boy, they wasted no time. How about 15 seconds to get on the board? No flags on the play. Touchdown.
Kelsey Baker went untouched. What? I tell you, the best offense that they had at the beginning of the game, the kickoff returns, nearly the first one broken at the start of the game, started the second half. I tell you what, this Pikeville team, if they pull off an upset, this will send shockwaves throughout Pikeville, and I guarantee you, if they beat Georgetown, recruiting levels will skyrocket for the Bears.
Kelsey Baker went 87 yards for the touchdown, 14-12. Georgetown leads Pikeville. 15 seconds went off the clock.
Blackshear, Georgia. And he ran and just kept running, and nobody even came close to touching him. Pikeville had an outstanding wall set up for him, and he almost started to outrun his blockers.
They're going to try to tie it up on a 2-point conversion as the quarterback, Scott Branton, comes in. Looking for the end zone, trying to float it in there, knocked away. Excellent defense by number 33, Gerald Parker, for Georgetown.
Parker, the reason that was not a pass interference, because at the last minute he turned around for the football. You see Parker right there getting congratulations from his teammates. Good job of him. Turning around at the last second. Otherwise, they're going to go for 2, and they get the ball a yard and a half closer.
So 14-12 as Kelsey Baker electrifies this crowd on hand at Rawlings Stadium to cut the deficit to 2 points. Georgetown leads Pikeville 14-12.
And I tell you another thing that this allows Pikeville, they've struggled with their offense in the first half with the exception of a couple of nice runs. Pikeville's strength is now back on the field, and it's the defense. So if they can get the defense to hold, who knows, they could get the ball in some great field position, and if they took the lead, I tell you, Zach Willis would pull the loopholes and he would come unglued. That's a fact.
Well, he certainly knows how to pull Lou Holtz. He was an assistant there under Coach Holtz at South Carolina. So the Pikeville College Bears looking for a big defensive stop here, and it would be huge to get the Pikeville offense back out on the field down 2 points.
The kicker here, Mike Mahoney, number 12. Rick Bentley was talking to me during the halftime about him. He kicked a 55-yarder in high school. You look how small he is, and a little pooch kick here on the sideline. Wow, big hits. Zach Willis was liking his ability as tackle, and they said, wait till you see him kick the football. And he kicked a 55-yarder, so you know the kicker has some range.
All that stuff I said about special teams, go ahead and strike that right now, because special teams obviously has played a big role so far in this game.
Well, you're exactly right. Special teams did play a part. Pikeville got 6 on the board starting the second half, so John Lewis is the prognosticator.
My prognostication that it would be trouble, I was very wrong about that. Ball is on the 36-yard line for Georgetown. Neil Warren now in the game, the former South Laurel player at quarterback against Bart Johnson, tired of taking those hits. Neil Warren, a WYMT Player of the Year as a senior at South Laurel. He is in, Georgetown JV quarterback.
Now, we don't know a lot about Bart Johnson, but we do know what Neil Warren can do. And he may cause Pikeville some problems because he has the ability to scramble. And we saw him, I know I saw him several times last year, get himself out of jams. And I don't think he'll be on his back very much because he has the ability.
Warren on the option, that's a live ball. And Jonathan Taylor lucky to cover that one on the option. But a big loss on that first play.
Taylor did not finish the route on the option. He stopped thinking the ball was coming to him, and Warren was leading him on the pitch, and he did not go to the football. He was trying to get the football to come to him, but what I was saying about Warren, he will get himself out of jams by his athleticism.
Taylor very upset with himself on the sidelines now as he takes off his helmet and goes to the sideline. A loss of 10 yards on that play. 2nd and 20. Ball is on the 26-yard line. Neil Warren goes under center. Derek White goes into motion. Warren looking to air it out. We know that he can, but it was incomplete.
And Neil Warren, 3rd all-time in the state of Kentucky in passing. The 2 guys in front of him, Kyle Moore, number 2, and, of course, Tim Couch. 2 great names from Eastern Kentucky. And of course, you think of Eastern Kentucky, being from Louisville, I know when I first came over, I think, well, they're going to run the football a lot, run the football. Kids at Eastern Kentucky can flat throw it. And we see that out of Allen Sperry and Breathitt County, and Tim Neese last year could throw it, and, of course, Neil Warren can too.
A 4-receiver package. And Warren looking to the air. Buys some time there. Good block behind him. He's going to have to tuck and run. He runs out near the 40-yard line.
And that's the scrambling right there. He turned something that was going to be nothing. He picked up at least probably 10 yards out of that and improves the field position for his team. Picked up 11 yards. And instead of 4th and 20, they now have 4th and 9, and they can punt it away and get Pikeville down deep into their own side of the field.
Well, the first player to congratulate Warren as he comes off the field is Bart Johnson.
Probably because he didn't wind up on his back.
No doubt. So they will punt it away, 4th and 9. Ball is on the 38-yard line. And the punt, a good one.
Wow, he got the ball to turn over. That's a great kick.
That one drops to 20 and takes a Georgetown bounce.
Special teams on the punt. Punt coverages for Pikeville and punt returning. They will definitely have to work on that because we've seen where they've let the ball drop and the ball rolls a little farther. That ball could have been caught in the air or at least on the hop and taken it for a few more yards.
So this one will be placed at the 15-yard line. And Scott Branton back into the game. Quarterback swings it out quickly to Marcus King.
Oh, Marcus took a shot.
And here comes a helmet off. A lot of hard hitting here for Georgetown. I think they may be a little frustrated. Going to try to send a message to Pikeville.
John Sullivan put the helmet in the middle of his sternum. As soon as he caught it, he made a couple of steps and bam, right in the middle of the chest. And coaches teach that. If you're going to hit somebody, you put your helmet right in the middle of the numbers.
2nd and 6. Branton trying to hit King again. That one just jumps up and falls incomplete. 3rd down.
I'd say we'd have to see 3rd and 6. Don't have to see, but Dewberry hasn't gotten his hands on the ball. And speaking of, he just comes into the game to replace Marcus King. And I would say we'd see a shotgun formation and Dewberry getting it on the draw. I'm calling it now.
Well, he was looking to line up in the slot receiver maybe, and Blanton stops him and puts him right beside him. And you know what? You may be right.
I'm wrong.
Or not. Nearly intercepted. Broken up by number 37, Seth Faulkner for Georgetown. That'll bring up 4th down.
Parker on Parker. Only it was Junior who came out the short end of the stick. It was number 33, Gerald Parker for Georgetown. Nice diving deflection.
So 4th down now for Pikeville. They look to punt it away. Branton, I guess, is finished doing his own punting for the night.
Off the side of his foot.
Takes a big Pikeville bounce down to near the 40-yard line. So that's where Georgetown will have it. They'll look to march 60 yards. 14-12 your score. Georgetown leading Pikeville College.
We got a 31-yard punt, and he got a lot of that out of the roll. About a 16-yard roll out of it. But you keep them away from the return. So a 31-yard punt really could be like a 40-yard punt because they don't get any return out of it, and it keeps Georgetown on the other side of the field.
Warren stays in there, quarterback. The draw, Jonathan Taylor stopped, maybe a gain of 3.
Tony Miller, Lakeland, Florida. I'm glad the PA guy could see it because these orange numbers are starting to fade into the white jerseys.
They're a little tough to see under the lights here at Rawlings Stadium. Near the 12-minute mark of the 3rd quarter. 2nd and 8 for Georgetown. Derek White in motion. And Warren back to pass. Takes the drop. Hit at the 45 and breaking loose. Down the sideline. It stopped at the 30 is number 30, Ryan Payne.
Jason Williams. Great downfield blocking, by the way, for Georgetown. Jason Williams made the tackle. And a big play. You see what happens after a missed tackle. He broke the first play and took it for at least 20 or 25 yards after the catch.
Payne, a graduate of St. X. Gets the first down, ball on the 30-yard line. And Payne in motion. Warren hands it off up the middle, Jonathan Taylor. And Taylor took 3 Pikeville Bears to bring it down there as they converged on him, and he broke through for another couple of yards before he stopped.
Neil Warren, you have to root for that guy to get the starting job eventually here at Georgetown. The 2 draws that they've had, 2 out of the last 3 plays, he sells it by himself because he does look like he's going to pass, which is which was, well, I lost my word there, which is the objective of the draw.
The pitch now. That was to Derek White. Yeah, much like if you ever watch Green Bay, you watch Brett Favre. On any play, he'll always try to finish the play. It looks like he's trying to throw the ball,
right.
And even though it may look silly and you say, why is he doing that, it will freeze your defensive backs just for a second. That could mean another 2 or 3 yards. That could mean another first down.
That's exactly right. I remember Brett Favre explaining that a lot of people laughed at him when he first started doing it. He said, hey, it worked in high school and it worked in college, and it actually worked his first couple years when he was in the pros.
Handoff again. Pikeville makes the stop, 4th down.
If they ran that play again and Warren keeps the football,
he's gone.
He is gone, and no one will be around him because his speed. I didn't see him get caught from behind many times last year either. We talked about Michael West during the Pike County Bowl, how only one person caught him from behind. I didn't see many catch Neil Warren from behind either.
Of course, Neil Warren and Lane Young was the terrific tandem at South Laurel last year.
And James McLean, who's now at Union College. Slash, they call him.
4th and 2, they're going to go for it. The handoff to Taylor. He's got the first down and still try to chug for more.
And you see Georgetown moving the ball downfield with Neil Warren at quarterback, something that Johnson, they were moving him, but not in the huge chunks of yards that Warren has gotten his offensive unit to do. And Warren, really, he takes control. When he is on the field, you can see the determination on his face. He wants the football in his hands to make something happen.
Warren also a member, not only WYMT Player of the Year in high school, he was on the all-interview team.
Definitely.
And you see there, they hand it up the middle on the draw, and he sells it as an option, which is going to freeze some of your defensive linemen and your defensive backs.
You're talking about Neil Warren. He's also, in high school as a senior, he was a 4.0 student. He was the class president. He was the All-American kid, you know, gee golly darn, and the All-American guy that you love to root for. And Neil Warren, we wish him nothing but the best here at Georgetown.
Quarterback keeper. Did he get in? They're going to mark it at the 1. Well, there you go. That was a job of selling it right there on Neil Warren's part.
I tell you, another quarterback you mentioned, quarterback who used fakes or play action. I remember Boomer Esiason was excellent at the play action. He was one of the best and one of the most natural just at faking and hiding the ball. And if you fake out the cameraman on a pro football game, you're doing something, and he did that at least once a ball game.
Danny Cannell, do that at Florida State, was a master of that. Ball on the goal line. Looking to push it through. Warren says they got it, and so do the referees. That's what counts. Touchdown for Georgetown.
That's a big score for them because it's an 8-point lead, but more importantly, it gets their offense a little confidence because the last time they scored was at 9:28 of the second quarter, and big gaps between scoring drives for Georgetown.
So the touchdown is on the board. Georgetown now leads 20-12 at the 8:19 mark of the third quarter.
Big extra point.
It goes through. That'll make it 21-12.
Two-possession ball game now.
Exactly.
Of course, it's only the third quarter, but if they get a field goal, it's a 12-point lead. And that extra point could mean something in Pikeville's inability to hit extra points.
21-12, your score, 8:19 left to go here in the third quarter. Neil Warren, as we mentioned, the former South Laurel superstar quarterback, in at quarterback for the Georgetown JV squad, replacing Bart Johnson. Johnson ended up on his back, it seems like 70% of the time, whether he got the ball away or not. Sacked 2 or 3 times in that first quarter.
I think Neil Warren is a senior. I believe he was sacked only 6 times. I remember one coming against Perry Central, but an outstanding quarterback and so elusive that he can pull away from a defender and really take the game into his hands, and one of the few players that can actually dominate a game by himself. And he did that numerous times, running the football. Well, he was a part. Let's just go through the Neil Warren folder, if we will. He was in charge of 76% of their points last year, and that's unheard of almost. Either running the football, throwing the football. He was a part of 76% of the points scored by South Laurel last year.
Down on the sidelines there, number 8, getting a much-deserved drink of water after marching his team. Got a smile on his face. His team leads 21-12, ready to kick it off here at halftime coming off the field, Coach Zach Willis looked at his team and said, you know what? These guys are the best in the country. We trail them 14-6. Don't think that this team doesn't have confidence. Another big run back on special teams.
Special teams has really been the bread and butter of the third aspect of the game that sometimes that I think over the last few years Jimmy Johnson was really big on it. People say, offense, defense, and, the kicking game
right.
or the return game. When Jimmy Johnson hit the Cowboys, he said, we are really going to focus on the block punt and the return game. And I think over the last few years that the special teams play has really made an emergence in football. And Pikeville's used that tonight.
Ball is on the 28-yard line. Branton in at quarterback. Hands it off through the middle. Not much room there for the rusher.
See, Dewberry, he must have, I tell you, he's got something on the jersey. Everybody keeps sliding off of it. Nobody can really get a handle on him. It takes at least 3 guys to bring him down.
I think they have a can of Pam out there on the sideline.
I was thinking the same thing, but I'd let you say it.
A loss of 2, 2nd and 12. 7:35 left to go in the third quarter. Pikeville College maybe surprised a lot of people, certainly surprised me, playing well with this Georgetown JV team. They are down 9, 21-12. But they have the ball, and they hand it off to Dewberry again. This was the bread and butter play of the first half that led to the first Pikeville score. And maybe that defense keying in a little bit on Dewberry now. You can't go to the well too many times.
I would make them beat you with the pass because we've seen that Branton has struggled a little bit on the pass downfield. He's been somewhat successful with, obviously, the quick hitters, the quick slants, but the passes that he's gone downfield with, he's been a little long, and I'd have to say they want to make him beat them with the pass.
3rd and 9. And somebody jumps.
That's going to be a false start down on the right guard of Pikeville. He moved well before everybody else did.
Before the snap, illegal procedure, white team, 5 yards, repeat third down.
And then maybe on 76, Adam Bailey, old Prestonsburg guy who we just heard from a little while ago. Transfer from EKU, I believe, and one of the few upperclassmen, a sophomore, if you will, one of the 7.
A sophomore is an upperclassman on this team.
Great block.
Tuck and run for Branton. Knocked down at the 35.
Dewberry made that play because of the great block that he had as Branton went around the left end. And if you're a halfback or a fullback, one thing that I'd say a lot of kids forget to do is learn the art of blocking. And he really took out the defensive end. We can see there's the replay right here, and the block was back before Branton took the turn, but it sprung him, and it's 4th and 2, and they're going for it.
This time, Branton got him to jump, thought he did. Now they did.
Well, see, Branton, I tell you what reason he thought they moved. In high school, you break the play and it's offsides. In college, you have to touch somebody, and it's offsides. And I think the second time they actually touched somebody.
Offsides.
And he pulls them off, first down.
5 yards.
Branton sold that play twice. First time didn't work, second time it worked.
Usually you don't buy your real estate twice, but the second time around paid off for him. And good job. Good job at quarterback. But he thought the offsides, he'd break the plane. In college, you have to go break the plane and touch someone.
Going to the air, throwing in double coverage. He probably got away with one there.
And that's the same play that we just that they just can't get going. Terrence Pride, the receiver, and I think Pikeville, if they're going to throw the ball, they're going to have to get some more of these quick hitters, because if they get the quick hitters going, then that's going to be able to free up the long pass, and Branton's going to have to get some air under the football if he's going to go downfield with it, because he's overshot everybody.
Well, the history books will show Terrence Pride had the first touchdown. Kelsey Baker had the first special teams touchdown.
Now they're waiting for one through the air, and Branton's tried several times to give it that.
Hand off to Dewberry. They were waiting on that one. Wrangled down. at the 40.
Nice tackle by Justin Stearns. He was the one who necktied him around the back. Nice play. And another third long situation for Pikeville. And I tell you, they've had a lot of third and longs, more than obviously Zach Willis's team would want.
3rd and 10, 5-minute mark, 21-12. Georgetown leads Pikeville. Big third down for the Pikeville Bears. Handoff up the middle on the draw.
That's a first down. That's got to be a first.
I don't know. Let's see.
Dewberry again. That's a first down, folks. Give it to him. Oh, that's a bad spot. That's a bad spot. You can hear some of the people.
Yeah.
They brought that ball a good half-yard back at least. And either way, they're going to go for it, I guarantee you.
Let's see. That looks like they're going to bring the chains out.
They have the ball on the other side of the 50 at the 49. When Dewberry got up off the pile, of course, you don't mark it where they get up from.
Right.
But where the ball was well past the 48. He picked up an easy 11.5 yards, and they're going to mark. This is going to be close.
I think it's going to be short. Let's see.
I'd say you're right. And you're right about the nose of the football.
Yep.
Less than a half of the length of the football. That's a really bad spot.
Well, that's a 2-linker that's going to bring up 4th down, but I agree with you. I think that Branton will stay in there and they'll go for it, and that's what it looks like so far.
Of course, the man hovering over the football, Julian Tackett, he's the umpire. I'm going to blame it on him, the KHSAA official. Good friend of Bobby Keith, from what I hear, down in Manchester. They get along real well come Sweet 16 time.
Sure they do. So that brings up 4th and inches. Quarterback keeper on
now
the sneak.
That is a first down.
That's a first down. I don't think there's going to be any question about that.
Of course, if Bobby Keith is at home watching this, he knows exactly what I'm talking about. The last game that Bobby Keith was a coach, they lost to Madison Central. And Julian and Coach Keith had some nice words to say to one another throughout the ball game. Yes, very much so.
Well, they hurry it up, and the receiver was stuck in the backfield but fought around it. And a big stomp by LeRon Carter.
Mark Walker hit him at first. They credit him with the stop, but he's the one who hit him first, but it picked up 4 yards afterwards, and Walker was still stuck in the backfield.
So that'll bring up 2nd and 6. 2 wide, 2 slots. Hand off to Dewberry. Up the middle. It works again. He is stopped at the 30, but not before he picks up a first down.
Unreal that Georgetown is allowed. It's like a sieve. It's water through a sieve, and the middle, obviously Pikeville has found the weak link, the Achilles heel of Georgetown's JV squad, and it's right up the middle because these linebackers are not staying home, and the offensive line, give credit to the offensive line, they are making enormous holes for Dewberry to run through.
Ball is on the 30, 1st and 10, 3:24, 21-12 is your score. Georgetown leading Pikeville. Hand off again, maybe a yard or two. Well, we thought that Pikeville College may have gone to the well too often, but there was still another drink in there. And we'll see if Dewberry may be able to get a few more yards on the ground. No gain on that play, 2nd and 10.
Pikeville going to a little of a hurry-up offense. He throws it.
Nearly intercepted, and wow, he is really upset with himself there. Terrence Pride had a couple shots at that one on the deflection. Good concentration, but unable to haul it in.
When Branton first let it go, didn't mean to step on you there, by the way. When Branton first let it go, I thought he overthrew him again. But Pride really put the afterburners on and caught up with the football and nearly caught it after it was deflected. And Coach Willis, you see right there, barking instructions to his young football team.
3rd down 10. Hand off to Dewberry again. They were looking for it. They push him back. No gain.
Nice play by Georgetown. you know, it's one time stupid you, second time stupid me, and after
Right.
about 10 times, you kind of wonder what in the world's going on. But Georgetown finally stops the draw, and it brings up 4th and long.
You know, we will give him a yard on the play, but 4th and 9. And the ball is on the 29-yard line. So they are going to go for it on 4th and 9, nearing the 2-minute mark of the third quarter. It's been a quick game so far. This is a big play for Pikeville College. Branton is in trouble, gets rid of it, incomplete. Georgetown will take over on downs.
And you could credit Justin Stearns, number 53, with the pressure. I didn't see who the, it may have been Dewberry. I don't want to put a name on anybody, but I think it may have been Dewberry that missed the block on Stearns, forcing Branton far to the outside. And this is the scenario we talked about earlier. When Johnson was left-handed, he ran to the sideline, threw back. Branton, right-handed, did not have enough on the football. And Georgetown takes over with Neil Warren as quarterback.
1st and 10 now, option. That is number 23, Michael Copley from Lawrence County.
Now we finally have a name. It's T.J. Hudson, number 2 for Pikeville. Let's everybody, if you're at home, write it down. He's number 21 on the roster that we have. T.J. Hudson out of Columbia, South Carolina. So, T.J., we've mentioned your number several times. Now we have a name.
6 yards Copley gained on that play, 2nd and 4.
To draw.
A draw again, and Copley not really turned on the afterburners. He just kind of jogs up through there, but he gets the first down.
Good thing Chuck Williams isn't here with his manila folder. No, Copley had a nice run. I mean,
sure.
He's got a great run, but if Chuck had been up here for the option, he'd have told him to run, son, run. I can't use you if you don't run 100 miles an hour. I heard that last year once, and I about fell out of the camera, and then it was on my shoulder, and I tell you what, it almost fell off my shoulder. I laughed so hard at Chuck Williams. He dropped his manila folder.
Well, we've got a pause in the action. 1:12 left to go here in the third quarter. It's 21-12 Georgetown over Pikeville. See, look at him. There you go.
That's a shot.
That's the way to do it, baby.
Chuck said to Alan Short, he goes, son, I can't use you. If you don't run 100 miles an hour, I can't use you. And I just was like, uh-oh. We're back, boys. Nope.
And back to action. Neil Warren with an incomplete pass to start the drive. Now 2nd and 10. He hands off. Not much going there.
McEwen dropped behind the line. And Pikeville's run defense, B.J. Jackson with the stop. Their run defense has been pretty darn good. They have stopped a lot of the big runs. Caba had that 32-yard jaunt earlier. But Pikeville's done a heck of a job to shut this running game down.
A loss of 7 on that play. 3rd and 17. About 30 seconds left to go here in the third quarter. Warren looking, throwing, incomplete.
It's going to be well short of the first. So
it'll be probably about 8 yards short of the first down. That'll bring up 4th down.
And the punting unit trots out onto the field. Nice pass. I don't know why he went down. It was a low pass, but he could have caught it and stayed on his feet.
Well, they won't get this punt off. They won't get this punt off before we hit the fourth quarter, and that's where we are right now. Heading into the final quarter, Georgetown leads Pikeville College 21-12.
Tracy, man, getting the shots, buddy. That's the kind of stuff you put a camera in somebody's face. That's a good shot.
That's the way to do it.
Oh man, this is 1986 music. Good job, Tracy. They got to score here.
Yeah.
Baby. Uh-oh. Can't hold him. Get it!
And Georgetown is just kicked off, or punted, I should say. And it'll be a long way to go for Pikeville to score this time.
Michael Braxton came charging in and almost got a hold of it. And we have some stats after the third quarter. Of course, most of the stats still in favor of Georgetown, but the rushing yards, it's 114 for Georgetown, 112 for Pikeville. And I'd say Zach Willis would be very pleased with 25 carries, 112 yards. Passing yards, only 7 of 20 for 31 yards and 1 interception. But the rushing game, outstanding so far for Pikeville. You look at the kickoff returns, 4 for 176 yards.
Timeout on the field. And the clock has not yet stopped. Let's take a look at what Pikeville will face this upcoming year. Their first year playing football, and they'll play a club junior varsity schedule. September 25th, they'll take on the Cumberland College junior varsity. And then on September 30th, Fork Union. October 9th, they will be up near Cincinnati, taking on Mount St. Joe's. Then they'll play at Center College and at Campbellsville. And then they will host the University of Kentucky junior varsity squad at Shelby Valley High School. So the Pikeville College Bears will play at Pikeville High School. They'll play at Belfry, and they'll finish up at Shelby Valley against the University of Kentucky junior varsity squad.
Well, if they play, I don't know which games first. Do they play the Cumberland game at Belfry? Because if so, if they bring that Cumberland group up to Belfry, you better get on your hands and knees and thank somebody for fixing the road that goes to Belfry, because it is a heck of a drive up there. And Coach Haywood, I talked to him a couple of weeks ago. He said, you know, half of our defensive strategy is now gone. We used to wear teams out with the drive up here.
Airing it out is Branton. Complete. This one could go in the end zone. Touchdown, Pikeville. Brian, you said it. They needed to score, and they did.
82 yards. Just like that, they score, and they're back in the ball game. Tommy Parker.
Junior.
Check that, junior.
Tommy Parker Jr., a huge play. Do I see a flag down? I do. I think there's a flag down on this play, and I just saw Zach Willis throw his hat down. They do keep the touchdown, and being the nice guy that he is.
After the touchdown scores, penalized 15 on the try.
I would say
what did he
do? Yeah, exactly.
What did he do? Excessive celebration, maybe?
He celebrated because it's a touchdown.
I'm sick of that. I'm sick of that rule.
I think this is a good time to vent on that rule.
I'm sick of that rule.
Touchdown score.
It's not like he pulled a Billy White Shoes Johnson and started dancing on his toes or anything, but my goodness, if a guy scores, why do you penalize him for enjoying his moment in glory right there? That's, as Vince McMahon put it, that's totally un-American.
You won't see that in the XFL.
Promise you that.
So Tommy Parker Jr. making it a game again, 21-18.
You got it.
Who cares about 15 yards?
Told you Mahoney had that booty. He kicked a 55-yarder in high school. That's a 35-yard extra point.
21-19 now. What a game out of Pikeville College. Brian, I'm shocked. I just got to tell you.
This is great. 21-19, and I think the guys in orange are shaking their heads because this wasn't supposed to happen.
No, it was not supposed to happen. Again, as we said, coming off the field, Coach Willis told us before the game, Georgetown's the NAIA champions. We're not playing Georgetown. We're playing the Georgetown JV. That's what he told them. He said, but remember, they don't fall far from the tree. You're playing the best team in college football tonight, guys, and you were only down 14-6 at halftime. Now they're down at 21-19. Time for a big comeback here for Pikeville College.
And if they come out of here, we talked with Rick Bentley. Rick Bentley predicted a victory.
That's right.
And at first, you know, I think everybody's like, yeah, a little tongue-in-cheek prediction. But now he can say, hey, I told everybody it was going to happen. And they're only 2 points behind. And that's a big extra point. Because if they come within field goal range again and he boots a field goal, this game's over if it stays the same score. But Pikeville's defense, at least for one drive, they're going to have to take a play-by-play now, is going to have to come up with another big stop.
But I'm sick of the celebration rule, and you can ask one of the assistant coaches over there on Pikeville sideline was a backup to Gino Toretta at Miami, as that one is an onside kick. I don't think it really came off as what they hoped to, but kicked it straight up and back down. But one of the assistant coaches over there, and who was a backup quarterback at Miami under Gino Toretta, and they know all about that celebration rule, which in the NCAA known affectionately as the Miami rule about celebration. But that's just a terrible rule. You know, if the guy takes off his helmet and showboats, fine. But after a huge 80-plus yard play, don't penalize a guy, especially in his first ever collegiate game.
And the first ever collegiate game for the school.
Terrible. 1st and 10 ball on the 44. Warren, a bullet. Not much on the play, but, man, he can hurl that ball.
Well, he played baseball. He was a third baseman and a pitcher for South Laurel, 3-sport athlete. You know, what doesn't he do? Good gracious, I think he did everything but, and as Keith would say, he did everything but sell hot dogs at halftime. Great, outstanding young man, and certainly a very good quarterback.
Gain of 3. First.
Check that. Second.
Yeah, that should be 2nd down and 7. Going to the air again. Not much of a shot there.
Jason Williams on the defense. He got turned around and didn't really see the football until it was right on top of him. Fortunately for Pikeville, the ball was either thrown a little bit behind him or the receiver didn't see it.
I think it was thrown a little bit behind him, so that'll bring up 3rd down.
So for Neil Warren's sake, it'd be great to see him at the varsity level in a year or two, leading his team to a national championship type of a setting. That'd be great for South Laurel High School, definitely.
No doubt. Pitch in the backfield, hit immediately 4 or 5 times.
Anton Brown hit him first, and check out the defense. Don't throw a flag. He's celebrating. I wouldn't want to see another stupid flag, but great play out of the defense. And this defense has come ready to play, and almost speechless. Almost speechless.
I'm absolutely impressed by the defense. And Zach Willis, who's the head coach, is also the defensive coordinator for this team. That says a lot.
Well, being a Lou Holtz disciple, Lou Holtz, teaches fundamentals in defense, and obviously they've done a good job on the defensive side of the ball. But once again, they're going to have to work on the punt return.
Yeah, they really do. When that ball is taking a bounce like that, pick it up.
Because this field, the way it's constructed, it doesn't have a lot of bounce to it, so the ball's going to die. And when the ball's hitting at the 12-yard line, it's not going to take that roll that you might get on a hard field in high school and take it to the end zone. That ball stopped. Once again, Pikeville starts inside their own 10. It's at least the 4th time they've started this far in their territory. If they have another 91-yard play, let's pull it out of the bag.
Well, obviously they do have an 80-plus 1 yard that we were hoping to see, 80-plus yard play that we were hoping to see. We did see it here. And see if they've got another one in them. Play action.
Nice
Complete to Pride. Pride will take it. Looking for the 20. See where they mark his forward progress. He may have a 1st down on that.
That was a nice little bootleg or quarterback waggle out to the left. Good play. And Pikeville's used the big play. Kelsey Baker, 87-yard kickoff return. Then you got Gerald Parker Jr., 82-yard pass. And it's just been bam, bam. And it's almost scary that they could score that fast.
It is indeed a first down. Across the middle, Pride is open. Across the 40, across the 50, other 40, 30, 20. Is he in for the touchdown? He is! Touchdown. Oh, they mark it at the 1. I can't believe it. I thought he was in. I thought he was in, but wow, what a play.
That one only went 80 yards. Oh,
wow.
My goodness. How?
I thought he was in for the touchdown.
Well, we saw
my goodness, 1 yard line.
We saw the pylon go down, but he must have stepped out a foot. What sold that play, I don't know if we have a replay of it. What sold the play was Branton at quarterback. He gave a hitch to the right, and then Pride cut into the middle, and he was gone. 80 yards on the play. 80 yards and 2 feet, 11 inches.
Oh, my goodness. When I saw that pylon go down, I thought he was definitely in. We do have a flag on the play here.
There was the hitch right there, and that freed up Pride, who went across the middle. Tracy Hensley, great job on the camera, buddy. And Pride took off, and the only reason he was caught was because the defender had the angle on him, and you could see the defender hit him right there and push him out.
Oh, I thought he was in.
Wow. That's awful close. That is awfully close. And now we've got a penalty, pushes him back to the 6.
So it'll be a first and goal. The penalty was a substitution problem. Branton's got it. Whoa, he takes a hit. John Elway-like.
Exactly, Super Bowl.
John Elway-like there. Branton on the keeper.
Well, here's the replay. Watch this replay. It's the Nat Moore human helicopter even. Wow. Oh, my.
Big number 51 there delivering the hit. See on the keeper if he got in.
The flag down on the far side. Don't know what the call is. May have been an illegal procedure or a false start possibly.
We have a foul at the snap, illegal procedure.
Yeah, there it is. That's it. Tell you, tough penalties this deep into Georgetown territory.
You can't get any deeper without pushing it in for 6. That ball was on the 2-yard line at the time.
What athleticism out of Branton. Boy, he took a shot. That had to hit him square in the, if not underneath the face mask, right on the face mask. It was Justin Stearns.
And Craig Collinsworth also in there, the 230-pound linebacker coming in to deliver a hit. 6 yards to go for 6 points and the lead. 11 minutes, 30 seconds left to go in the fourth quarter. The handoff inside Dewberry. Stop short. Third down now.
Third and about 3 or 4. Of course, it's 3 and 4 to the goal line. And this is definitely, if this is 6 feet on third down, 6 feet on fourth down, and you've got a touchdown, they've got to go for it. And if they get this, you're going to see the guys in white and all of the contingent. They're standing on their feet on the far side. The place will go bananas.
Shotgun formation. Keeps it. He just throws it for the end zone. Touchdown, Pikeville.
What a play.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my goodness. What a play. I don't believe what I just saw. He actually had to adjust and come back. Greg Williamson had to adjust because the defender was all over him, and he actually comes back for the football.
I thought Brandt was going to throw it away. Touchdown for Pikeville. Greg Williamson. And Pikeville has the lead 25-21.
Their first lead in school history.
Yeah. That's right, and it comes in the fourth quarter. What better time? The extra point is good. 26-21. Pikeville may shock the world tonight.
Flags coming out of every place, and you can see, hopefully they don't throw anybody else out.
Probably unsportsmanlike.
Julian Tackett threw the first flag, and the other flag came from the sideline, probably offsetting unsportsmanlike penalties.
Dead ball, personal foul against the white team. Team will be enforced on the kickoff.
Wow, it's not. I saw the Georgetown player, number 37, down here on the sideline for
Seth
Faulkner. He was being pulled away by his teammates and wanted to go back into the offensive line of Pikeville and get some more of whatever he got. And they called the foul They throw the flag on Pikeville. Nonetheless, Pikeville, their first lead ever.
So the first lead of the game, and as you mentioned, for Pikeville in school history, comes at the 10:46 mark, 26-21 over the Georgetown JV game. We were a little worried that this would become a blowout.
You know, I'm wondering if Zach Willis, to pull a phrase from our friend Big Dipper, I'm just wondering if he's pulled a sandbag, a little Tom Larkey saying, you know, I just want to be competitive. I just want to be good. I just want to be this. Knowing all the time he's got 2 aces and a pair of kings in there, and he's got a wild card with him too. So
from the 20.
The gambler could be the poker face Zach Willis. Pikeville offsides. They're not going to throw a flag, though.
This one taken at the 30-yard line. Cutting across the middle. Breaking tackles. And finally tripped up is number 45, George Wells, the freshman out of Sycamore, Ohio, who will give the Georgetown Tigers excellent field position with 10:30 left to go in the fourth.
That was a great stop by Pikeville. If they don't tackle the guy, obviously he's going to go, and the tackle is made by number 51. Guess what? Not on the roster. Check that. It's Ernell Rumpf, or Ernell Rumpf, a late number change.
The draw for Neil Warren. Warren across the 30 and down near the 20-yard line. Just showing his athleticism. We saw that so many times at South Laurel.
Kid's tough. That's all you can say about him. He's a winner, and he's tough. Great moves out of the quarterback. Look, you can see why he's also on the depth chart at wingback or halfback, because he has great moves. He go laterally, east, west, north, south, and he always makes something happen.
He's a straight athlete for sure.
Georgetown got the steal of the recruiting class when they got that young man right there.
A handoff to McEwen. Gang tackled. No gain.
Sometimes I wonder when college coaches go after football players or pro players, what have you, they look at the athlete. You know, in so many sports now, you recruit an athlete, not what the guy can do. You know, you have a football player who can do this and can do that, but he may not be the best athlete. Well, Neil Warren is a great athlete, but he's tucked in the way in a 5'10" body. And some bigger colleges may say, well, he's too small. The Doug Flutie syndrome. He's too small. The kid can play.
Play action. Warren.
Great fake.
Great fake, and that's going to be a Georgetown touchdown. Number 81, Kyle Rusher.
Have a flag, and it's
down.
coming back maybe.
White team.
No, it's not. Wow. I tell you, penalties have killed Pikeville.
Yeah.
And a lot have been personal fouls.
So the Georgetown Tigers have a 1-point lead now.
I thought, by the way, Reese Hicks, number 55 for Georgetown, was standing right in front of the official. He kind of had the body mannerisms like, who, me? And that's why I thought it may have been on Georgetown, but another personal foul on Pikeville. 27-26. Georgetown with the lead, and now they're going for 2. And Neil Warren, I think if Georgetown wins this, I guess you can spell MVP
no doubt.
for the ball game.
You got it. On the keeper, pitches it out now on the option. They did not get in, so a good stop there for
T.J. Hudson with the great stop. Number 2 keeps it in field goal range of winning, if you will. 9:26 left.
9:26, maybe some rushing plays on the way.
I'd say so. Dewberry has really gotten his feet wet quickly. After 3 quarters, he had 16 rushes for 75 yards. His long was 21. And Marcus King had 3 rushes for 17 yards total. But Dewberry has really gotten the load for Pikeville. And after 3 quarters, they had 112 yards rushing on 25 carries compared to Georgetown's 34 carries, 114 yards. So Pikeville really getting it done on the ground. Let's just hope for the Bears they don't start inside the 10-yard line again, because that's really been a big problem for them.
Well, special teams done well so far, but you're right. They need to, when that ball starts hitting at the 12 and the 10, pick it up and go. If it's not going to roll in the end zone.
Nonetheless, what a great game. I hope you folks at home are enjoying this one because this is fun to watch.
Absolutely.
We saw a great game Saturday, the Kentucky-Louisville game, but for a JV game, this is fun too.
This may be the most exciting JV game of all time. Nice kickoff there, taken near the 5-yard line. They're going to run it back out. Just stop. He dropped the ball and fumbled. Who has it? Georgetown, they believe they do. We'll see where it bounced back up.
There's a lot of orange jerseys down there. I thought Williamson got it back.
And that may have been one, as we mentioned, should have let it go. That one probably had a chance to go to the end zone.
Well, if he had let it go, obviously on a kickoff, they can return it if he doesn't recover it.
Right.
But Williamson, he carried the ball very loosely. He kind of like Walter Payton, carried it like a loaf of bread. He didn't tuck it away.
Right.
He kind of kept it out on his forearm, and very lucky.
Yeah.
If Georgetown gets the fumble, they are in serious business.
But if that ball hits maybe on the 3-yard line, do you think it would not go back into the end zone?
Who knows? Who knows?
But he decided to take it at the 3, fumbled it. This ball is at the 18 now. And a break for Pikeville. They need to take advantage. 9:09 left to go in this game.
A miscommunication
Absolutely.
out there this time. Parker and Scott Branton. Branton thought he was going downfield a little bit more, and Parker thought he was coming back in for a hook pattern.
2nd and 10. Ball again on the 18-yard line. What a game this has been for the first game in Pikeville College history. They trail 27-26. Again, 9:05 left to go in the game. Ball is on the 18-yard line. Branton to the air. Taken by Paul Jones.
There's a football on the field at the 20-yard line. At the bottom of your screen, you'll see 2 young men, and they're playing catch on the sidelines. Now they've got 2 balls in play. And it's a good thing. Whoever the receiver was at the bottom of the screen at the start of that play, the ball rested right at his feet. And I tell you, if he stepped on it, you never know. He could break an ankle.
That's true. 3rd and 6 now. And those kids got a good talking to by the officials there. Branton going to the air.
Oh.
Nearly intercepted. Oh. Number 48, Aaron Meyer, had that one right in the numbers. But it was a bullet off the hand of Branton.
I think it surprised him being right in front of him the way it was, because that had a little mustard on it.
Here comes the punting unit for Pikeville. Still plenty of football to play here in the 4th quarter.
Pikeville needs a good punt for one, and they need to get some coverage downfield and not to give up any type of a return.
We'll see if it happens here.
Wow, low punt, but it's not going to be returnable, so that's a pretty good punt, considering.
So they'll take that about the 42-yard line for Pikeville. With 8:21 left to go. 27-26, Georgetown leads. Pikeville College playing their first ever football game. Coach Zach Willis has given us a thriller here. And there's thrills all around. 27-26. Neil Warren under center, going back to work for his Georgetown Tigers. Handoff inside again, and Jonathan Taylor breaking tackles everywhere. That was a hard-fought 5 yards.
Anton Brown had him at first, and then he wiggled his way and kept his feet turning. A lot of kids in high school, you see, once they get hit, they don't keep their feet moving, and it's kind of like they get hit and they're stunned. They look around and say, well, where am I at? Instead of keeping your feet moving. Middlesboro's kids, Middlesboro and Bell County's kids really do a good job of keeping their feet moving after they've been hit at the line of scrimmage.
McEwen goes into motion. Fade out for number 11, Stoy Young. Young on the big gainer, still fighting and knocked out of bounds at about the 7-yard line.
Can you place the football any better than what Neil Warren just put it right on the money between 2 defenders? Man, what a throw. And you kind of wonder now, here's the replay. Look at the pat right over the shoulder, and you just can't throw it any better than that. And then they push him out of bounds, 1st and goal. And you have to think that if Georgetown, let's say they go 2 downs here before they make it. Let's say they make it on 3rd down. It's going to take another minute off the clock. This could be the straw that breaks the camel's back right here.
This will be 1st and goal. Jonathan Taylor stopped. $7:25 left to go.
Fatigue factor, you wonder if it's setting in now. First game for these kids from Pikeville. And, of course, Georgetown, I believe it's their first game of the season as well from the JV level. But fatigue factor is really setting in. 7 minutes left in the game.
And a pass like Warren just dropped really takes the wind out of your sails, too. That's a letdown. Handoff up the middle. Taylor is in the end zone. Touchdown, Georgetown. 33-26 at the 6:56 mark of the 4th quarter.
Pikeville, the air seems to have come out of the sails a little bit.
So they will try to kick the extra point to make it a 34-26 game. The extra point is up, and it's good. 34-26 at the 6:56 mark of the 4th quarter. Georgetown over Pikeville. Branton and company need to get back to work, and, they've got some clock to work with. That's the good thing that's on their side.
Well, they're going to have to go for 2 now.
Yeah.
And that they're going to have to get a good return. They've been successful with that at least. And they know that if history repeats itself in this game, as they make history,
right,
that they should get good field position on the kickoff. But, they can't let the ball, obviously they can't let it bounce, and they've got to get some blocking up front and get a wedge somewhere that they can break another big play. They've definitely had the big play tonight, though, so you never know what can happen.
Greg Williamson, Kelsey Baker, both these guys have touchdowns already. They're back deep to receive for Pikeville.
Well, Baker had the 87-yard kickoff return. Williamson had the 82-yard pass reception. And then you had Gerald Parker Jr., who came within inches. And I still think he got in, but that's not it's not up to us. But good gracious, that was an 80-yard play that was down inside the 1-foot line. You couldn't put the nose of the ball any closer to the goal line without it being a touchdown.
It would have definitely
Man,
broken
this is
the
fun.
plane.
Let's go. Down 8 points.
The kickoff taken, and that's a live ball there taken by Kelsey Baker up across the 10, and he is slung back to the 10-yard line. Wow. Good special teams work from Georgetown.
The sign of a good team is if they can get their opponent worn down in the late in the game, and you see Georgetown a little spring in their step that Pikeville might not have. You see some of the Pikeville kids walking a little flat-footed, running not on the balls of their feet anymore, and you see Georgetown a little spring in their step, but that could all change with another 87-yard play.
Well, we'll mark forward progress to the 14.
Or 86.
Dewberry on the draw.
Yeah, there's no hurry. You have 6.5 minutes to
Sure.
play. There is no hurry in trying to go for the big play unless it opens itself up like it did for Pride earlier on that slant pattern.
And you got to think, after being burned like that twice, that the Georgetown defense is going to be looking for it.
I probably should give credit where credit's due. It was Pride that had that 80-yard catch and went down at the 1.
Another pump fake for quarterback Barton, and that is complete.
Parker.
Another first down.
There was another Parker who made some catches like that, and he's only one letter away from being Jared Parker, who's at UK. But Gerald Parker, check that, Tommy Parker Jr. He's got some size on him.
Yeah.
He's 6'1", a little bit taller maybe than that even. But Parker, he's going up above the defensive back.
So another first down and another handoff to Derek Dewberry on that draw play.
He got met by Josh Priest. Of course, people from back home remember Josh Priest over in Pike Central country.
6'3", 270-pound sophomore from Kemper, Kentucky. Well, Gerald Parker is out there trying to prevent Tommy Parker from doing anything. He's on the Georgetown defense, 6'1", 185-pound freshman. 2nd and 7, ball on the 42. 5 minutes, 15 seconds left to go in the fourth quarter. Barton looking. He's got pride. Oh! They say that he was out of bounds.
Pride doesn't put up much of an argument, so
No,
he may
he
have
must have
been
been.
out of bounds, but that was great athleticism because he got turned around. He had his man turned around. Wow, if that had gone through.
Would have been a huge play, but instead it's 3rd and 7. 5:08 left to go. Pikeville trails 34-26. If they score, they'll have to go for 2.
Do they run it? Do they pass it? Or do they do a little bootleg out, you know, little play-action bootleg? That's what I'd like to see.
Let's see what happens.
You got to score first.
That's right. Quick out there to Parker. Parker didn't have much going. That'll bring up 4th down.
We have a replay of the catch that Pride made on the sideline. Let's see if he did stay in.
Kind of hard to tell from that angle.
Right here on the line. Good call. 1 foot is in, 1 foot's out. Great call. Great camera work again. Tracy Hensley need to improve this man's paycheck a little bit.
We're near the 4:30 mark now. 4th and 7.
That's true.
Pikeville will punt it away.
Fair catch by the up back. By the
Not
blocking
something
back.
you see often.
Defense has to step up. 4:22 left. They're down 8. Zach Willis has got to get a little Gatorated, their little oxygen. Say, listen, you've got to make a stop right here.
We have a timeout on the field. 4:22 left to go here in the game. Pikeville trailing Georgetown 34-26. They got to have a huge defensive stop here. What's that?
I think we need to take more breaks.
We did, yeah.
We had somebody on the sideline saying, hey, we'll take a break right now.
Well, there needs. I mean, they got the camera guys doing that, but there needs to be a producer. You know what I'm saying? Like a producer going down there. Oh, God. Like a field person.
Yeah, action everywhere, John.
Wow, Poppy.
Hello, ladies.
Oh, my God.
Hello, Laverne.
Welcome back to Rawlings Stadium, home of the Georgetown Tigers, the Georgetown JV team leading Pikeville College in Pikeville College's first ever game. Score right now, 34-26, 4:22 left to go. John Lewis along with Brian Milam, and Georgetown back on offense. Neil Warren, the former South Laurel quarterback, hands it off, and that will go for very little, but a couple. They're going to try to probably work some clock here on this final drive.
I'd say they have to. 4 minutes on a running clock, and Warren has really done a good job. Coming in at quarterback, he takes the place of Johnson at halftime and really done well.
Bart Johnson ended up on his back several times in the first half. And
if they didn't take him out, he would have been hurting a lot.
No doubt. 34-26. And Warren looking to go to the air. Now he tucks and runs. A helmet is loose out there.
That's the athleticism again. He makes something out of nothing, and he's close to a first down.
Neil Warren with the quarterback keeper.
Tell you what, I'm missing my yellow jacket. I need to have a Dennis Miller yellow jacket. My first time ever doing color. Need to have it. That's close to a first. I don't know if they're going to measure it or not. The chains are on the far side. It's kind of tough to see if
think they're
If
just
he's
going to call
got
it 3rd and 1 right now.
If it is 3rd down, it's the nose of the football.
Yeah, here come the chains. Obviously, at the 3:24 mark, they would like to run some clock here. Let's see what they mark it. They say it's short.
Now timeouts become a factor. You look at the scoreboard, and it's 34-26, but underneath the score, more importantly, you see TOL, timeouts left, 1 for Pikeville. If they get the first down here, it's going to be really tough to stop the clock because you know Georgetown is not going to throw the football. And if they do, it's going to be something really quick, like a screen pass out in the flat.
So 4th and 1. Pikeville needs to stay close here. The handoff, or actually, I think Warren may have kept that.
Second effort, I think Warren got the first down.
I think he did. (34-26), 3 minutes, 11 seconds left to go here. They're still trying to unpile the players. That was Warren on the keeper.
Hey, for a little guy like he is, he could take a shot.
And he got the first down.
Now is where time really becomes a factor because they got the first down. We're coming inside of 3 minutes with only 1 timeout left. If they don't stop this drive, these 4 downs, ball game's over, barring a miraculous turnover. Like that Eagles-Giants game back about 15 years ago, the miracle in the Meadowlands.
Don't know if it'll happen here. Another handoff, no surprise.
Got about 7 out of that. So
Michael Copley.
And you look across at the white jerseys that are down on one knee, and you think that you kind of have to think that they feel this thing slipping away, that at one time, for a briefest of moments, they actually had a shot at this thing. But the sign of a good team, Georgetown, they came right back and scored immediately.
2nd down 4. Nearing the 2-minute mark. They'll wait till the play clock runs all the way down to 1 second. They hand off again, number 23, and Michael Copley.
Take a timeout right here. Take a timeout right here, because you've got to stop the clock sometime. It's going to be third down right here. It's going to be 3rd about 3, and the clock just keeps running.
Well, the clock stopped at 1:58 for a few seconds. Now down to 1:45. They're going to take their time. The play clock is at 15 right now. 3rd and 2.
Well, obviously, if they don't get it, they have to call a timeout to stop the clock. And I think the troops are going to come on this play.
Yes, they will. Well, they back off on that.
Now take a timeout, right now. Now take it.
Great defensive play. This is the time to take a timeout, and, in fact, they do at 1:22 left to go here in the game. We're going to take a timeout also. We'll be back. You're rotten.
Dude, I didn't do anything.
You're rotten.
I didn't do nothing. Now you're going to get the football with 1 minute and 15 seconds after the punt. What are the odds? What if he just took it? What if he just went nuts?
Fans, once again, a reminder, the home opener for Georgetown, the varsity. Saturday, September.
What about a post-game interview? What are we going to...
Well, we'll just do it a live look for...
I mean, anything with
No,
Zach?
no, not for the broadcast. We'll just wrap it up.
September 30th at 1:30, the North Greenville Mounties come to town for the first
North Greenville Mounties.
Georgetown and the varsity.
I'm going to say something about the East Ridge High School. Please don't let it be Bobcats or Wildcats or Tigers.
Or Yellow Jackets.
Or yeah.
And here we go, Georgetown with a 4th and 5, ready to punt it away. 1:22 left to go. Pikeville trails 34-26.
Now they don't need an offsides or anything. Yeah, the defensive line did not move in a great kick.
Excellent punt.
Let it go. Let it go.
And it will. That'll be a touchback. So with about 1:15 left to go here in the game. Pikeville will have to march it 80 yards for a touchdown and a 2-point conversion.
First things first, they've got to get the touchdown on the board. And I started coaching just because, you know, we've seen them let the ball go at inopportune times, and then we've seen them catch it at inopportune times. And right then, they were inside the 5, and Marcus King came around back looking like he was going to try and catch it. And if he did, I mean, it would have been impossible almost.
And I'm sure he got well schooled about what to do in that timeout. 1:15, here we go. 2 receivers, 2 slots. The play action, they're going to go deep and overthrown. Tommy Parker Jr., the intended receiver, 2nd down.
But once again, he had his man beaten.
Yes, he did.
And he was overthrown. You've got to get some air underneath it. I know it's almost like we're beating a dead horse at times, but you've got, of course, it is the first game.
Yeah.
But in a pressure situation, if you're going to try for the home run, you've got to allow your guy to get underneath the football.
2nd down, 10. 1 minute, 10 seconds left to go. 2 receivers, 2 slot receivers. Play action again. Branton scrambling. Dumps it out quick to King. King across the 35-yard line.
That's a first down. It's going to stop the clock. But they've got to keep this thing to the sidelines now. They've got to work the numbers to the sidelines.
59 seconds left to go. Again, Pikeville trailing 34-26, their first ever game. They've made an exciting one for us and for the fans. 34-26, they trail the Georgetown JV team. 52 seconds now. Branton unloads, hit hard. Another first down, though. That'll stop the clock. That was Terrence Pride on the reception.
They could get these 12-yard chunks, and that's okay, and they're only using a couple of seconds. That play, once they snapped the ball, only took 4 seconds.
42 seconds and counting. Branton shotgun again, looking to the air, across the middle, incomplete. Terrence Pride, the intended receiver.
We see that Pikeville has a huge advantage at receiver defensive back position. They are so much quicker than Georgetown's secondary. And you look at Pride and you look at Parker, these guys have been open. Greg Williamson, they have been open a lot.
Yeah.
And you can see that the speed that we heard Dusty Hall talk about it all week, saying, I've never been in with guys this fast. And you can see that speed is really causing problems for Georgetown.
2nd down 10, 35 seconds. Hand off to Dewberry inside.
Got to get out of bounds.
Dewberry. Marcus King. King will be tackled inside. And now Branton.
See, they don't have any timeouts, so they've got to hurry.
They got to spike this ball or get up to the line of scrimmage quickly. 20 seconds left to go. Got to do it quick. 16, 15. He's under center, and he'll throw it down. That'll stop the clock with 12 seconds left. 34-26. Pikeville has to punch it to the end zone. They've got 55 yards to go.
Kind of wonder why you run the football.
I don't understand that play at all.
I don't understand with no timeouts. If you had a timeout,
sure,
maybe you can understand it. But he didn't get out of bounds, and he made no attempt to get out of bounds. He cut it back inside. Interesting. Because you've got this is it. This is the ball game right here.
4th and 4. Last chance for Pikeville. 12 seconds left. Branton looking, going to have to keep it. Gets out of bounds.
I don't know. He's short. He's short of the first down.
Well, the clock stops at 4.
They had to get to the 44, and I believe he got knocked out at about the 45. Yeah, that's going to be short of the first down.
And that's the ball game. Well, what an effort, though, from Pikeville College as they play their first ever game. And Zach Willis came in here, said he didn't want to be embarrassed. His team certainly was not embarrassed.
Not at all.
Played much better than a lot of people expected them to, including me and probably including you.
Everybody.
What a game for the first one. Unfortunately, Pikeville not able to finish it off, and they did keep the lead for a while, not very long. Neil Warren has to be the MVP of this game for Georgetown.
Definitely. He's led them. They've scored 20 points here in the second half. They're up 14-6. Both teams have scored 20 points in the second half. But Neil Warren made things happen because Georgetown's offense was getting a little stagnant.
Yeah.
And Neil Warren came in and just flicked the switch, and things started to happen. Great game.
Excellent game. 6 seconds here, and Georgetown will just probably run time off the clock as Warren takes a knee.
Of course, you know those Pikeville kids, they're disappointed, but, you know, they have nothing to be disappointed about at all. After this game, nothing to be disappointed about.
So the game ends with Georgetown taking this one from Pikeville College by a final of 34-26. Brian Milam will be back to wrap things up right after this.